Well, the second half of the season gets underway tonight as the Mariners play host to the San Francisco Giants. First game of the second half will feature Bryce Miller on the hill. He goes up against Landon Roop. You can catch it all right here starting at 6 o'clock with the pregame show. 7:10 first pitch, Seattle Sports on 7:10. Meanwhile, in the NFL has suspended Arizona Cardinals personnel executive Ryan Gold indefinitely for violating the league's gambling policy. The league said Friday its investigation determined that Gold provided confidential, non-public inside information regarding the 2026 draft selections by the Cardinals before the picks were announced, and he also participated in parlay bets on NFL and college games. The league didn't say who Gold had provided with the information.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile Park at Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Friday to everybody out there. A beautiful day for baseball. I missed you, baseball. I missed baseball.
Damn. When those words came out of his mouth, I thought he was going to say Dave.
No.
I really did.
No, you're down in the pecking order. Baseball's first.
Okay. Let's see where I stand.
Yeah, I just, even though the Mariners are wildly frustrating and we're all living in that reality, it just, a couple days off is good. It recharges you. It makes you kind of go, okay, I'm feeling like it's a fresh start here. We know what they're struggling with. We'll get into all of that, but I don't know. I'm excited for the second half of the season to start, and I feel like they've got the perfect opponent in town to get things kicked off in the right direction. I always have my apprehensions, Dave, with really bad teams, of which the Giants are a really bad team. So I'm always a little leery when they face them, but they should handle their business. And hopefully the fans, hopefully our listeners, hopefully the players after this break feel like, okay, just going to leave everything that was negative behind, ready to attack this second half here.
Okay, good. I was going to ask you if you gained any fresh perspective in your days off.
Just letting go of the anger, Dave.
Yeah, okay.
Really, yeah, it was cathartic. I had to let go of my Mariner rage, and you can't change anything that's happened. And I'm choosing to believe that, the things that have been lagging, the players that haven't been living up to the back of the card, guys that have been hurt, they're going to get healthy, guys are going to start producing. It's just, it's right there. The division is still there. You're a game and a half out. As poorly as that thing ended, with the road trip, you're right in the thick of it. This division allows you to be there. And I think in the end, we're going to be talking about the Mariners in the playoffs. So,
seeing a lot of growth, Bob.
Yeah.
A lot of growth from you.
I'm an adult now, Dave.
I see that.
We'll talk more about it with Trevor May, who does a great job. He's come to the dark side. He's part of the media now, former big league pitcher who we've had on a few times, and he's a local resident. Does a great job hosting. He's got a YouTube channel that does a lot of business, a lot of activity there. So we'll talk to Trevor May coming up at 3 o'clock. Angie Mentink of the Mariners broadcast team will join us at 4:30. And then we've got Mean Text coming up at 5:45. So if you're up and alert, text them in, 866-979-3776. Get your Mean Text going. But
you got anything to get him going, Lefko, down there? You got anything?
Now? No, I mean, they've been asleep all week. So
he's just giving a look like they're idiots.
I mean, why would I waste good breath and precious words on our listeners right now?
Yeah.
They're going to forget, even if I say something
that's
worth
the
making
other
fun
thing.
of.
Yeah. Short memories.
Short memories.
Definitely. So
Moranic.
What he's saying is they're idiots.
No,
Most-
Morans.
Morans. All right.
I really want
Always
that.
Morans.
I want that original texter to get back to us.
The Morans.
The original creator of the Moran.
I don't think we're going to hear from him.
I don't think. I think their embarrassment should be put to the side, and they should own up to it, because they've created a word on this show that has lived on long beyond their text. And whatever they were ripping us for, that message was lost.
Yeah.
Your misspelling was perfect. It was so perfect that it's taken on its own life here. Take credit. Take ownership of it.
Yeah, it could possibly be the best, most memorable text we've ever gotten on our show.
It's in the conversation.
Yeah, I see that texter is probably the most beloved texter now.
Yeah.
Because of what they bestowed on us.
I'm so pissed I didn't write that down because the guy, the 253 guy, when we were soliciting names for Cole and Colt, that he texted in CO2, and I got his number. It's a 253. So in case that ever becomes,
in case somebody else wants to claim
T-shirt or whatever, for it. I wrote it. I texted myself. And that's where I know where it is.
Yeah.
So that person, but the Morans guy, he won't live up to it.
No,
that's a shame.
I think you should just own it and just say, "Hey, man, I messed up. You guys got me a little heated that day, whatever." And it was a legit one. It wasn't a mean text. Like they were mad at something we said, but in all of his anger, he said, "You morons don't even understand whatever he said." And that's the rest of the message was lost after that. But
well, maybe he's such a moron that he doesn't realize that he misspelled it. He thinks that's really how you spell it. That's probably it. But yeah, getting back to baseball. I was wondering if you got like the fresh perspective. You got a team coming in here, and I thought about you because I'm like, okay, maybe a soft landing. With the Giants coming into town, they have the third worst record in the National League. Maybe that, but I know that you always worry about teams that are less talented.
Well, and they've given me reason to worry, right?
Yeah, because they've not done well.
Every time I say it, I'm like, I may be overreacting here, and then they play poorly again. I'm just like, what is happening? Why is this the way it is? So, yeah, hopefully they come out and abuse this team in a manner that they should. They really should. This is a team that people are looking at the roster right now. Other teams are probably lighting up the phones with the Giants going, hey, what's it going to take to get this guy or that guy? Or, I don't know how attractive their roster is to other teams, but these are sellers.
Right.
This is a seller, okay? This is not a team who's going, we get a hot streak going. We're in the thick of it. No, you're in the NL West. You're buried. You're buried in that division, and you're buried in the National League is so much better. So as far as wild card goes, it's how about highly unlikely that you'll be in the thick of anything. So this is a selling team. And this is a team that should be treated that way by the Mariners. And hopefully they feel, more importantly, Dave, I'm just hoping just the mental break, just the grind, the way the road trip ended. I mean, it ended in a win, but 5 losses in a row leading into it was just that was rough. So hopefully they just got away, whatever they did, they worked out, they relaxed, they went somewhere, whatever it was. Hopefully they come in and they're excited. Because I was excited today. I was like, okay, baseball. I was watching the Phillies and the Mets yesterday. I don't care about these teams.
No.
The Mets are interesting because they've got a $330 million payroll, and they've basically said just about everybody on this roster is available.
Right.
It's basically the message outside of Juan Soto and a couple of other select players out there. Everybody's available. So we could be in a much worse position. We could be Mets fans.
Yeah, I know. I mean, can you imagine, especially in New York with the media there and their fans, they're probably a notch below Philly as far as, harsh fans and whatever.
And the amount of money you spent to be that bad.
Well, and for us, I mean, we've got a lot of guys that are under control as far as their contract goes. They've spent some money in the right places, but just haven't. I mean, I feel like we're at a spot where if you just get, I'm not going to say the best out of Cal, but I feel like we have the pieces here. I believe we have the pitching for sure. And we'll get into the, 6-man rotation discussion, but, I feel like that's fine. Maybe a little concerned about leverage arms in the bullpen, but we have guys like Brendan Donovan, who hopefully he had his debut in the ACL.
Went a little rough. He was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
3 strikeouts. So, but all I care about, and I'm like, okay, he's working on things.
Yeah, he was DHing. He wasn't in the field yet.
Right.
So it's going to be a slow build.
All I care about him is how does he feel? That's the thing that worries me is just his health. But I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of confidence that Josh Naylor and Cal Raleigh and really Julio. I mean, we talk a lot about Cal being the guy I was saying the other day. He's like the aircraft carrier. He's the guy that supports everybody, and he's, offensively, he was such a threat last year. But what about Julio? I mean, and look, this isn't his fault. He ends up getting the concussion. So, I mean, that was just bad luck. But, I mean, I would like to have maybe a little help in the bullpen. We talk about a righty bat, but I don't know. I feel like we have the components to make a run into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they do too, and I know, and we'll talk about what they need and what they should be looking at and all that. But it's I don't know. I was optimistic coming out of it. I'll just say that. It's right there for them. I don't think any of these other teams in the division are better than they are. They're just not. I understand the Rangers are a game and a half in front of you. I think it's a 3-team race, certainly. I mean, the A's are what we thought. Told you at the very beginning of the year, I don't trust their pitching. I like their offense. They got a lot of great young talent there, but their pitching, they've given up more runs than I think anybody in the American League. They've lost 8 in a row. They're in an absolute free fall right now.
Oh my God!
So they're. I mean, look at the amount of the runs allowed for them.
Yeah, 528, and their run differential is 106.
Yeah,
minus 106.
Yeah, so they've fallen out of it. The Angels were never really in it. It's a 3. It's the Mariners, the Rangers, and the Astros.
Yeah. I mean, and the A's have some nice pieces and everything with Kurtz and.
Oh yeah.
But the pitching is just so instrumental, and that's where the Mariners. We've got such good pitching. We have a 6-man rotation going and piggyback thing happening. So
that's the thing that surprised me. I thought we'd get. I don't know if I was expecting a definitive coming out of the break. All right, here's our 5, or we're going 6 for the rest of the year, or I thought maybe we get some sort of definitive plan, but it feels like they're just kind of continuing. Like, here's where we're at for now. You know what I mean? It's just kind of a continuation of what it was leading into the All-Star break. I was kind of hoping, thinking there might be some sort of declaration like, okay, breaks out of the way. We were doing that, but here's the plan moving forward. Now it seems like we're kind of playing it by ear. We're going 6-man to start, which people can weigh in on that, 866-979-3776. As I was saying in the notes, I kind of feel like, and they would never say this, but I feel like they're waiting for either Castillo or Emerson Hancock to go out there and just get torched so that they can then justify the move to the bullpen for one of them. I don't think anybody else is part of that consideration, and this isn't looking at if any are in the market to be traded. But in shaking out this 6-man to get it back to what Bryce Miller presumably would want, a 5-man rotation, to get a definitive here's who we are moving forward. I feel like they're kind of waiting for one of those two to lay an egg.
Yeah, I got a chuckle out of that last night or this morning actually, but
doesn't it?
Yeah, it does kind of feel like that. Like okay, let's just see what happens. Hancock or Castillo, you left the other guys out of it, but yeah, I mean,
I don't think any of them are candidates to go to the bullpen. I think if they go 5-man, it's going to be Luis or Hancock that goes to the bullpen.
Yeah, well, and Castillo, for pretty obvious reasons, he's probably been the lesser of all 6 of them, but also Hancock has done it before. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think
he's got
right
the least amount of resume or cachet, if you will, but he's been arguably their best pitcher this year, most consistent.
Yeah, and the other thing I think Castillo is a guy we don't really hear from, and he's not super animated. Like, if it was George Kirby that was maybe the candidate, I think you would know about it. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he would either say something or you'd see it in his body language or whatever. But, with Castillo, we don't really hear. Maybe he's fine with it. Maybe he's okay, and he's like, hey, I'll do whatever it takes to help this team win.
Yeah, we could all be putting that on him. We're all assuming because he kind of got agitated that first piggyback, or when he slammed the glove down or whatever happened. It seemed like, all right, this is a guy who wants to be a starter. He doesn't think he should be part of this. I mean, you don't really hear him say much outside of moments after the game through the interpreter. Right. But yeah, you're right. Maybe he is like, hey man, you want me to be in the bullpen? I'll be in the bullpen. You want me to be part of the rotation? I'll be part of the. I'd rather be part of the rotation, but if I need to be a bullpen guy, then that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and talking to other pitchers like, Ryan Rowland-Smith and Charlie Furbush, and we'll hear from Trevor May at 3 o'clock. I think more than anything, it just sounds like the routine part of it is just kind of they kind of get stuck on that part.
They're married to the routine.
Very much so.
You don't tinker with that.
Right.
Whether we think it's silly or not, or fans say, oh, an extra day, what are you complaining about? These guys are so meticulous and so married to their routines that any deviation from it for some guys is catastrophic. Like some guys are super superstitious. Some guys are just a little stitious. But it's pitchers amongst, baseball players in general are that way. We've talked about it, comparing football players, baseball players. baseball players are routine guys as it is, but then you go to the pitchers, starting pitchers, it's a different world.
Especially, yeah. We talk about different personalities on the mound, Furious George, Walter. Yeah, I mean, it's just something, like you said, they're married to. So, but, then if that does happen, let's say it's Emerson Hancock that does get lit up and he goes to the bullpen, slightly less concern in the bullpen, And so, that could help a couple of things I just hope it plays itself out. If this is if we're going into September and they're still going back and forth with that, I think we might have a problem.
Well, it almost feels like they could solve the other problem, and that's the bullpen. Right now, as we've talked about a million times, you're an arm down because you've got 6 starters. You can only have so many pitchers on your roster. So with 6 starters, you're one less in the bullpen, and you're one less leverage arm with Brash out.
Right.
So it feels like if they put themselves in a position to go, look, we're going 5-man, and here's the guy that's going to the bullpen, whoever it is, you kind of solved that problem in the bullpen that you're otherwise going to have to trade for. Right. You're going to have to make a move at the trade deadline to get an arm or 2 into that bullpen, in my opinion. Now, we've heard about this trade market is that, man, every team thinks they're in it. Everybody feels like they're a buyer, which means the prices for some of these arms presumably are going to be through the roof compared to seasons in the past. So maybe this is a way for them to sort of address that need without having to give up the farm, so to speak, to acquire an arm. Like, all right, well, we've got the luxury here. We've got one of these starters goes to the bullpen. You've got Cade Anderson, who could be a bullpen arm, who we talked about. So the answers might be here within the system. It's just a matter of them making a decision.
Yeah. 425 asks a good, honest question. Why is a 5-day or 5-turn, I guess he means rotation, the norm? Why not 6? I don't get it. It's just the way it's been for years and years and years. And these guys have grown up.
This is how they've conditioned themselves. This is, I pitch every 5th day. Here's how I rehab after my start. Here's when I throw on the side. Here's when I do this. Here's everything. It's just by the book. This is my routine, and that's what you're basically brought up doing, especially at the big league level. Minor league level, they're going to try to get a lot of pitchers involved, and maybe you're more accustomed to it there. But at this level, you're going 5.
Yeah.
So, it's a matter of routine. But Jordan Schusterman was on with Bump and Stacy. This is a few days ago, but he was talking about the Mariners bullpen. In his opinion, he says they're not giving themselves the best chance to win with some of the decisions they're making in regards to the bullpen.
With the state of the bullpen right now, sorry to bring Michael Rucker back into this, it's such a gigantic drop-off after that in terms of who's available. I know that you're thinking big picture and you don't want to burn Munoz in games that you're not necessarily guaranteed to win, whatever, but you're really not giving your team the best chance to win. And it really is that simple.
Yeah, he's not wrong, and that we've seen it crop up a couple of times when they had to burn some leverage arms early, when they had to go to Spire early and Bizzardo early, and then you're looking at the back end of the bullpen and some crucial situations with Rucker on the hill, and with all due respect to those guys, he's not your leverage arm. He's not a guy you want to go to with the game hanging in the balance. So, but they've kind of been put in some of those positions because of where they're at.
Schusterman brings up Rucker there, and I think it was Cleveland where he blew up. So, I mean, it's just not there. And then somebody else asking about, is it September 1st when they you can go to 14 on your pitching staff? Or is it 13? You get an extra guy in the bullpen?
Yeah.
Yeah, in September. Somebody was just asking about that.
Yeah, you can expand then. But, what kind of ground are you going to gain or lose in the meantime? I don't feel like you can go the whole month of August doing this and keeping yourself an arm down in the bullpen. And again, we'll see when Brash comes back. Is it going to be mid-August? Is it going to be late? I don't know. So you're kind of down 2 arms in a sense. You're down one physical body, one option, and then another prime option is not there in Brash.
Yeah. I just think Brash is such an instrumental. I mean, he just gives you something different. He's such a special pitcher, a guy that you can bring in those situations. That's been a huge bummer.
Yeah, what did he give up? 1 run this year, I think?
Yeah.
I think 1 earned run.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't pitch a ton, certainly, but he was wildly effective. So he is definitely, along with Spire and Munoz, and I'd throw Bizzardo in there, a guy you rely on in key high leverage situations. He's on the hill. You've got a level of confidence, and certainly he had been living up to that this year. And the amount I don't know how many innings he had under his belt, maybe 16, something like that.
Yeah, 16 and 2/3. You're way off.
How about that?
And yeah, you're right. 1 earned run, just the one.
Yeah. So they are no doubt missing Brash. Just missing that extra option in the bullpen, so we'll see what goes on with that. We'll talk more about it. Meanwhile, let's take 2.
All right, I was waiting to see, but no lineup yet. And the big question is, will Julio be back? And he didn't make the trip to Tampa when he was going to be eligible to come off the concussion IL. He hasn't played since Thursday, July 2nd, so that will be something to watch for. But no Mariners lineup yet. We will get injury updates from Justin Hollander, I think slightly after 3 o'clock, so we'll keep you updated on that as well. The team the Mariners are going to be watching, the Rangers actually have a really tough stretch coming out of the All-Star break. So I'm talking about trying to take advantage of what the Mariners have here. The Rangers are in Atlanta for 3, then play the White Sox, who are good, then the Mariners 4-game series, obviously, and then after that, they go to Tampa for 3.
Good. Yeah. I hope it's just beyond hard for them. I hope they come out of it just absolutely beat up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the Julio thing is it's so interesting because it looked fairly innocent. I mean, it hit him in the back of the head, certainly, but you're like, it wasn't like he got hit with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and he was, it shows you how vulnerable you are in the back of the head. Like, growing up watching fights and everything, rabbit punch. That's why they're illegal. It doesn't take much to really do damage, shots to the back of the head.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got hit in the back of the head.
Really vulnerable.
The side, and a lot of it is, like you said, if you see it coming, but
you can prepare.
Yeah, so, yeah, that one, it didn't look that bad because, and also
he stayed in the game for a bit.
Yeah, and then Naylor took one off the dome, but he did it on purpose. He headbutted the ball.
He prepared for the impact.
He knew it was coming. So yeah, that's a big difference.
I pictured Julio staying in that game the way you talked about when you had your concussion and you didn't even remember playing. After that, you played really well.
I had my best game,
but you don't recall any of it.
Wasn't overthinking it.
Yeah,
and I was like, I just slid the other line back over. I'm like, you take the call. I looked over to the sidelines, and it was like, I got nothing.
I don't know what that means.
Absolutely nothing.
Well, unfortunately, there's another team the Mariners have to watch out for if it comes to a wild card spot. The Red Sox. Remember how bad they were when they came here? They've won 10 in a row now. So there's a game that's already finished today. The Red Sox beat the Rays 10-0, game 1 of a doubleheader. They're going to play again later this afternoon, but currently Boston has moved into a tie with the Mariners and the Twins for the final wild card spot.
Unbelievable. They look like a cadaver out there. They look like they were done. Our guy Ian was walking around depressed, head hanging at the station. Our resident Boston Red Sox fan, he's probably doing cartwheels right now. I don't know if he's in the building, but yeah, 10 in a row.
I'm glad he's not in the building. I don't want to see that.
He'd be insufferable.
Well, when I saw that, don't you think that the Mariners will have that? I feel like they're
capable.
At some point, they're going to have a 10 in a row winning streak.
Certainly capable.
Calling it right now. Calling my shot.
I want you to be right. We'll celebrate you. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/Cyberknife Prostate. One man will impact the Mariners season more than anyone else, and we'll get into that coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mariners are back from the All-Star break.
Every game from here on out should have a little bit more urgency.
Especially in the American League. One good stretch, and you're back in this thing.
Tonight, it's the Mariners and Giants at T-Mobile Park as the sprint to defend the AL West pennant begins.
I look at the roster and I say, this is enough if these guys go out there and play the way they're supposed to.
7:10 first pitch, pregame at 6 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
The price of gold has doubled in the past 2 years, and both gold and silver reached their highest price ever earlier this year. It's Dave Wyman here, and the good folks at Bellevue Rare Coins say higher prices have enticed more Americans to cash out their jewelry, gold, and silver items, some of which have been in families for generations. Now, if you're trying to time the market, there's no guarantee prices will stay this high forever. By the way, here's a story from a real local customer. She walked into a Bellevue Rare Coins location with an old bag of jewelry. Nervous, a little embarrassed, because it was mostly old tangled chains and pieces that she hadn't looked at in years. And after a few minutes, she was comfortable enough to consider the fact that because gold was near its record highs, her jewelry was worth far more than she ever imagined. So when they gave her the total, she started laughing and said, "I can't believe I almost donated this stuff." So just go see what your jewelry's worth. It's a free, no-pressure consultation. It's not going to cost you anything. And Bellevue Rare Coins is now in Linwood, Issaquah, Tacoma, and Bellevue, or just go to BellevueRareCoins.com.
So you need to have a system where if a customer wants to transact online, shop their vehicle, find their vehicle, fill everything out, and do as much paperwork even online, and buy the car online, and then come in at an appointment time so they can be in and out in an efficient time. Hey, my target goal is an hour. If you want to take half those steps, just know that, you're going to have another hour of transaction and paperwork, and then you're going to have roughly an hour of delivery. Some people even want more than that because it's a lot of technology. So it's making it available so a customer that wants to go 25, 50, or 100% meet them there where they want to be. If you want to take all these steps, I can meet you there.
The Johnson Auto Family. The LJ Way.
Hey, Chuck here at Frank Lumber the Door Store. You know our customers have a lot of fun with trying to figure out new and creative ways to use closeout bifold blanks to fill their needs. They can also be used as small double door units, access doors that are pre-hung, and even bypass doors. And with thousands of closeout bifold blanks in stock in Marysville and at our bargain barn, you can put your creative DIY mind to work. Come visit our showroom and bargain barn in Shoreline or on Cedar Avenue in Marysville. Also, be sure to check us out online at franklumber.com.
If it's blocking your view, keeping your yard dark or shaded, or impossible to mow around, get rid of that tree or stump this summer with P&D Tree Service. They'll do it safely and quickly, cleaning up your yard in the process. P&D Tree turns multi-day jobs into a few hours, saving you time and money. One tree or land clearing, they have the tools and expertise for the job. They specialize in large tree removal. Ever seen a tree removed by crane? PndTreeService.com.
When I'm catching up with friends or family, C-Star Restaurant and Raw Bar in Bellevue, it's where we go. A welcoming atmosphere, and I get to see my good friend, Chef John Howie.
Hey, thanks, Brock. At C-Star, we're known for fresh local seafood, unmatched hospitality, and great value. Right now, enjoy a 3-course dinner in the lounge every night, starting at just $50.
$50. You cannot beat that value these days, and it's only with Chef John Howie at CStarRestaurant.com, CStarRestaurant.com.
Just 8 days
until training camp for the Super Bowl champs. And nobody has it covered like the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families can't afford the food their kids need to heal. A child recovering from surgery and the family struggling to put nutritious food on the table. That's why Seattle Children's, Safeway, and Seahawks, Jackson Smith and Jigba launched the Food First Project to fight pediatric food insecurity by providing grocery cards, produce vouchers, and food as medicine programs for families. No barriers, just help. 12s, we need you. Learn more at Safeway.com. Again, that's Safeway.com.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Text line is there for you. Again, we got mean text coming up today at 5:45, so get those in. 866-979-3776. Something we were just talking about as far as concussions and being hit in the back of the head and how that's just doesn't take much. I've seen it in fights where it looks like a guy just took a little tap to the back of the head and all of a sudden dude's wobbling all around and they stop the fight and it's very damaging, as we're learning with Julio, who got hit in the back of the head running from first to second, guy trying to turn a double play, squared him up, hit him right in the helmet. Julio stayed in the game for a bit after that, but has been out, left that game eventually, and has not played since. He's not in the lineup tonight, which is a little concerning. Your lineup just came out. It looks like this. They've got Crawford leading off. They got Randy Arozarena in the 2-hole. Dom Canzone, your team leader in home runs, at 3. Cal hitting cleanup. Naylor, Young, Raley, Robles, and Emerson is your lineup. So your center fielder tonight is Victor Robles, who is fine defensively. Obviously, he's a very good defensive player. But, yeah, starting the second half of the season, as we were just talking about, getting off to a good start, getting guys healthy, it's already taken a little bit of a blow with Julio out of the lineup.
That's troubling. What do we say? We're going to hear from Justin Hollander at 3 o'clock. So I'm ish
thereabouts.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's bad news. And then I'm worried about Brendan Donovan now, obviously, because I don't care that he went 0 for last night. It's just like, how does he feel today? So let's hope we get some good news there. But I don't know. Maybe they're just being extra cautious with Julio. It's too bad going into that game. He had like a 7-game hit streak.
Yeah, he was starting to.
Yeah, and 4 of those were multi-hit games. So, yeah, he's starting to repair there. And really the big problem for him is his slug, right? I mean, especially if you look at it in June, it was like 327.
Yeah, he was singles. He became a singles hitter. He was, which was weird because we were like, I feel weird complaining about him because the guy's getting a hit every other game, and he had a 7-game hit streak and 8 of 9 and whatever was going on, but. Yeah, he just wasn't doing any damage, so he's not even in the lineup now. So I'd rather have him hitting singles than not there at all.
Well, and this is kind of uncharted territory for Julio because, we're used to him having slow starts. In the beginning, he had a pretty good start. One of his better, April and May, and then now all of a sudden we've got this happening. So, yeah, I don't know if that's an upgrade at center field.
No.
Or not with Robles.
I know what Paul says.
Moyer thinks so, but
he's allowed to be wrong. It's America.
Well, he's allowed to say things,
and he does.
Yeah. He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's true. He's allowed. So without Julio there, and we'll see. We'll see what Justin says later on this afternoon. But it puts a little more pressure on the other big names, right? There's already pressure on Cal because of the standard he set, and we said that coming into the season before the WBC, before any of that, man, that's just a standard that's not reasonable to live up to. Well, he got off to such a slow start, then the injury, and then he comes back and he still hasn't quite found it yet. I worry about him just in the way of confidence. I think we look at some of these athletes and go, well, they don't suffer a crisis of confidence. He's a professional athlete. I'm like, I don't know that that's true. I think that could be part of what happens with Brian Wu on the road. As soon as things go the wrong way, a couple hits, maybe he starts clutching up a bit, or he's like, oh, great, here we go again. Cal strikes out the first time, and maybe he's in his head like, what am I doing? I'm chasing that high fastball again. Maybe he's overthinking more than he ever did, and he's not as confident as he was certainly last year. He probably stepped in that box feeling like every time I make contact with this ball, it's going to leave the yard. He's not in that headspace right now. So you wonder where his confidence is. And if this, not having Julio there just puts a little more pressure on everybody, because if him, Naylor, Randy feeling like, okay, well, we got to pick up the slack.
Yeah, I'm sure that, he's – there was somebody while you were gone, there was somebody that had a quote that was like, well, whatever things that you've thought about to fix Cal's swing, he's already thought about that.
Yeah.
He's already been working on that, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure he's going through, everything he possibly can to get it right. So, and I mean, it's starting to creep up a little bit. He's at 169. He's got 9 home runs. But, at this point last year, he had, 36, 38, something like that. So, yeah, it's just –
it's a different world.
I felt bad for him. I always thought that he was a guy that, but, nobody is immune to going through those kinds of slumps. Nobody. And so, yeah, I just didn't think Cal would ever, be a problem where it got in his head. And that's why in the beginning, when it was about his oblique, I was like, okay, good. At least there's a reason for that. It's not like he's in his head or anything. But now it looks like, that's kind of where he is. But we did hear some encouraging news from, one of his hitting coaches that was talking about, yeah, he's really close. So, we'll see. I mean, that was a tough trip down to Florida. But, he got 5 hits in that series. Maybe there's something with the time off and everything that will click for him.
Well, Jeff Passan was on with Brock and Salk, and he talked about what Cal could do in order to get back to looking like himself in the second half.
Whatever I or anyone else suggests could fix Cal Raleigh, I can absolutely guarantee you he has thought of already. And he has considered and he has tried to implement. And it's, when you guys have things going on in your life and it feels like everything is swirling and going wrong and you just can't figure it out, quite often the solution is to say, okay, what's the simplest thing I can do? What's the easiest way to make things very basic? And I think that's probably what he's doing at this point, just getting back to the basics of what made him good. And, that's going to be, in his case, let's get the ball in play a little bit more. And let's get into advantage count.
Yeah, I don't know why Passan had to steal that from me, but
stole it from a texter.
Yeah. Well, I just remember people that were texting in at the time we heard that quote, and you did get people texting. Maybe you should do this. Maybe you should do that. Yeah, he already thought of that.
Yeah. We got a lot of keen eyes out there that say, well, what's happening is this, and what they need to do is this.
But look, people are concerned. I mean, that's the kind of player that Cal Raleigh has become. That's a pretty amazing catch by Ichiro out there in right field just now.
Oh, I missed it. Was it behind the back?
I don't know. He had to run pretty far to get it. He caught it on the warning track and made it look pretty easy.
He's ridiculous.
I didn't think he was going to get to it.
He's just ridiculous.
But yeah, people care about Cal. I mean, and he's easy to like, and it just I think somebody would be very proud if they were able to fix Cal's swing.
Yeah. There's Julio down there right now, just standing down there chatting. He's got the sunglasses on. I heard he'd had to wear sunglasses in the clubhouse, at least initially, first couple days, because I think the lights, dealing with that concussion were impacting him, so he had to wear sunglasses. And I don't know. He's walking around smiling, talking right now, so maybe he's close. Maybe it's just one extra day. I don't know. Fingers crossed that he's going to be able to return to the lineup quickly. John Morosi on talking about this and the All-Star break and who he felt like it would help the most in this lineup.
Number one with Cal, it's been a mentally and physically grinding first half. Number two, Julio, because he ends the first half on the concussion IL and certainly very concerned about his well-being. Clearly, and if there was ever any doubt about the importance of Julio, we saw it in the games that he wasn't on the field for after the injury. This is not the same team when 44 is not in the lineup and productive.
Yeah, I mean, you can't overstate the importance of Cal and Julio. Those are the faces. Those are the guys that are getting paid. Those are your future. Those are your core guys. Those are, I mean, this organization, this team is built around those guys, right? So you can't diminish what they mean to this lineup, either one of them. And, and Julio has been the face since he got here, essentially, and everybody, has expectations that he's going to be the next Griffey, and he may or may not be. We'll see. But whether he reaches that status or not, he's incredibly important to this lineup. And he's that threat in the lineup that the opposing pitcher has to deal with. And, he helps with the guy who's on deck behind him. And he just has an impact, even if he's a 0-for-4 guy that night. He's got an impact on what you're seeing coming out of that pitcher's hand with the guy behind him and the guy in front of him.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like we said earlier, it's not just Cal. It's Julio as well, and I'd say a little bit Naylor too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was brought in, and then the guy they signed him in. You can't really talk much about Donovan other than just sit there and cross your fingers and hope that this whole injury thing shakes out.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, the Mariners are banking on one player's health as a possible alternative to the trade deadline. We'll get into all of that coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, home of Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
What are the priorities in the second half? Number one for me, you got to clean it up. Start playing cleaner baseball.
Include Naylor in that. I'm going to have a lot more emphasis on him because he was a major straw that stirred the drink in their run in August and September last year.
That's fine. You can focus on Naylor all you want. I'll still be focused on, Cal, the guy who hit 60 home runs and had the greatest season ever for a catcher last year.
Watch live or later on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel.
Hey, it's John Curley with my friend Bob Stelton. And Bob, just like me, you had a hip problem. You were recommended surgery. Why did you go see Dr. Wagner first?
I was walking around at about an 8 pain level. I couldn't walk that far before the pain would kick in, and it was impacting my workouts and just really impacting my day-to-day stuff.
So you had stem cell on your hip. How does it feel now?
I can do a lot of things I could not do prior to this procedure, and I feel like I've gotten back to being who I was prior to the injuries, which was somebody who's very active, loves being out there outside when the weather's great, being on the motorcycle, sparring in jiu-jitsu, working out. I can do all of those things now. And I've had friends that have gone to see Dr. Wagner. They had the same experience, whether they were dealing with a hip, a knee, an elbow, a shoulder. Everybody walking out of there feels like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Before you choose surgery, do what Bob and I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. drmarkwagnermd.com. drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hi, Chef John Howie here. At Sea Star Restaurant and Raw Bar in Bellevue, we've been serving the East Side for more than 24 years. We love serving our guests and creating wonderful memories. We also love serving the community, from local schools to amazing organizations like Hope Link, the American Cancer Society, Bellevue LifeSpring, and so many more. I want to thank you, our guests, for supporting Sea Star all these years, making it possible for us to serve and help those in need. Thank you. SeaStarRestaurant.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and summer's here at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can check out upcoming shows like the Pop 2000 Tour with Chris Kirkpatrick of NSYNC, O-Town, Ryan Cabrera, and LFO on August 1st, or relive the 80s with pop sensation Taylor Dayne on September 6th. You can find tickets at snocasino.com and the full lineup, plus experience luxury with breathtaking Cascade views, world-class dining, and play your favorite games. Elevate your next getaway. That's Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, Chuck here at Frank Lumber the Door Store. You know our customers have a lot of fun with trying to figure out new and creative ways to use closeout bifold blanks to fill their needs. They can also be used as small double door units, access doors that are pre-hung, and even bypass doors. And with thousands of closeout bifold blanks in stock in Marysville and at our Bargain Barn, you can put your creative DIY mind to work. Come visit our showroom and Bargain Barn in Shoreline or on Cedar Avenue in Marysville. Also, be sure to check us out online at franklumber.com.
Mariners and Giants tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 7:10. Pre-game at 6. Get every pitch of every game for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman here, brand new member of Harborstone Credit Union, and I got my PNW cashback checking account for free. No fees or minimums, and when I make everyday purchases with my Harborstone PNW cashback debit card, I earn up to $30 each month. Gas, groceries, coffee, travel, lunch, all categories count toward your cash back. Open your free account online like I did. Go to harborstone.com/cash or visit one of their 29 branches across the Northwest.
Insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Long days call for lots of golf. Hey, it's Graz here, encouraging you to book a tee time between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. at your local premier course, like Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inner Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Padden, Legion Memorial, Linwood, and Walter Hall. In Western Washington, you know you're never far from a premier course. It accommodates all skill levels, and with affordable rates, you can book a tee time and truly enjoy the summer. If you're not in the mood for walking, play Top Tracer at the range at Inner Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park. Play the courses. Play Premier.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory, well, it goes to Mike. Hey, Mike, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I moved here from New York City and found this great guy. It got pricey, but because he was good to us over the years, we stayed loyal to him. But then one day I got an increase that was quite unacceptable. So I made one phone call. I didn't do any shopping. My wife told me to call First Mark.
Mike, were they able to save you and your family money?
Oh, yes. It was over $100 a month.
What would you tell others they can expect when they call First Mark?
The most competitive pricing that you can find. And they had terrific customer service. Even if you're on the phone with them, you can tell they have a smile on their face, so you can tell they love what they're doing.
Do you wish you would have made that call earlier?
I was just kicking myself as you were speaking because I didn't do it sooner.
Well, you just heard. Mike did it. My family did it. You got to do it, too. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. That's firstmarkinsurance.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 3 o'clock, Trevor May will join us on the program. Always a great conversation with him, getting his thoughts on what's going on with the Mariners, what's going on in the world of baseball, everything happening out there. So that's coming up at 3 o'clock. Stay tuned for that. Again, we do have mean text coming up at 5:45 today, so you can get those going at 866-979-3776. Meanwhile, you brought this up in the previous segment, Dave. We're waiting for Donovan, and I think what makes it even worse is we saw how productive he was to begin the season. When this lineup got off to such a slow start, he wasn't part of that. He was part of those that were hitting. It was a very select group. It was kind of him and Randy, really. But he got off to such a great start, showed some pop, hit some early home runs. I mean, we're like, whoa, this guy, to me, was better than advertised at the plate. A couple of rough moments in the field, but all right, we were going to see how that worked out. But you knew, wow, you like this guy at the top of the order. That looks great. And then he's gone. Then he came back. Then he's gone again. He's been gone ever since. But if he's healthy, is this a team that you look at and go, they still need to add a bat, even with a healthy Donovan? Because, again, keeping in mind what the trade market could look like by everybody's estimation out there, and we'll see how it plays out, is just that it is so clogged up with teams that feel like they're in the thick of it, that feel like, no, we're not sellers. We're buyers. Our record looks bad, but we're only 6 games out. We're only 5 games out, whatever. Look at the Red Sox. They just won 10 in a row, and all of a sudden they're tied with the Mariners, and they're tied with the Twins. And so that's giving those teams even more hope that, we're not going to unload our roster. We're right in the thick of this thing. So the options may not be there, and if they are there, they may be at an exorbitant price in terms of what you're going to have to give up in the way of prospects.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, and that's the thing about, I'll take over any free agency move that you make or trade or whatever at the trade deadline. I'll just take health for Matt Brash and Brendan Donovan. I'd feel really good about that. If we just we got that. And look, obviously you can't trade for that, and you have to sit there and wait and see what's going to happen. But yeah, you're right. I mean, he was batting .275, and he's
a few home runs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he had 3 home runs, 8 RBI. He only played in 25 games, and like you said, the only thing that was maybe a little shaky, a couple throws from third, but other than that, and you remember down in spring training what a solid guy he is. And the other thing I was saying yesterday, Mike and I were talking about the fact that he's just not around these guys, because just the things he says and the example he sets and his hard work and just a great teammate and all of that, you're missing all that. It's such a shame. It really is. So, but look, it also includes Julio and Cal playing up to what they can play to. But if we could just get the health from, because like you said, I have no idea what you're going to get. What are you going to trade? Who are you going to trade? Well, of our starting rotation, is it Emerson Hancock?
I think they'd like to be able to trade Castillo in his contract, based on his age and looking into the future. All right, who's part of the future? Who's really not part of the distant future? That's Luis Castillo, just based on age.
Yeah.
He's just not beyond this contract. That's probably where it ends for him here, so they'd probably like to move him above anybody else.
Well, and I asked that question to Gary Hill Jr. yesterday, and it was like, and he answered it like perfectly. It's like, well, what do you get back?
Yeah.
What are we getting back for? I mean, it doesn't really matter so much of who you trade, whether it's Emerson Hancock or Luis Castillo. What are you getting back? So, and that's where, especially with the American League being the way that it is, you just don't know what people are going to be willing to give up.
Jordan Schusterman on with Bump and Stacy again explains why it will be tough to find right-handed bats at the trade deadline this year.
This is also not exactly a market ripe with offensive upgrades. So I would say that is also probably part of why Dipoto is so readily saying something like that. But I think that doesn't mean that they shouldn't still be trying to take advantage of the opportunity that this team has. We know that they've underperformed, but ceiling-wise, this is still a team that should be up there with any other team in the American League.
Now, is he referencing, I read a comment, I didn't hear it from Jerry, but I had read something along the line, paraphrasing like, the best bat we could add would be the one we already have, something along those lines?
Yeah, it was just the interview he gave with Adam Jude like a day or two ago. And so then Schusterman was on yesterday, I think, and I asked him about that. So
is that what he said, though?
Yeah.
So I get fans don't want to hear that because that makes it sound like you're being cheap. Like, well, we already got it. The best bat we can add is one we already have. But he may be right.
Yeah.
He may be right. Maybe he could have phrased it differently, but if you're being honest, you're being objective and trying to remove emotion from it, which I'm prone to doing, keeping emotion involved. If you can remove that and go, all right, well, who's available out there realistically? There are guys you want, right? There are wish list guys to get this right-handed bat. Well, they're either not available or they want to just raid the cupboards of your farm system in exchange for somebody who's not worth it. Mm-hmm. Who's out there that's going to be better than a healthy Brendan Donovan?
Yeah.
I mean, that's realistically available. Not who you'd like, but who you think is realistically available that you would be willing to part with some key members of your farm system for.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Well, and then also, is this the year to pull the trigger? I mean, Cal's having a down year. Julio's, lately was not really. I mean, he had a good start, but yeah, your guys just aren't. I mean, Dom Canzone's leading your team in home runs. I thought it was going to be, Cal or Naylor or Julio, but so yeah, I don't know if they think this is the year. Maybe they're just like, I mean, sometimes you just got to look down the road and go, well, maybe this just isn't our year. And it's not because, I mean, it is a little bit because of, the performance, but also injuries.
Yeah. I'd go the other way on that though, only because despite all of this, despite everything that's gone wrong, you're right there. You're a game and a half out of the division lead.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much to say we're a playoff team. Mm-hmm. We don't have to do much to be a playoff team. So
well, I hope you're right.
I would think this would be the least likely time they would sort of kick the can down the road. Go, all right, this may not be the year where they're like, it's right there for the taking. I mean, we're without Brash, we're without Donovan, we got Cal off to this horrible start. He got hurt. Julio's hurt. All of this has happened, and here we are. We're still a game and a half out of first place.
Yeah,
we're in the thick of it. We're in the wild card. So, yeah, I think they're looking at an open window, and they're ready to jump through it. But how much help do they need from the outside? I just don't know realistically what's available out there versus what you'd realistically be willing to part with.
Yeah.
You know, and he may be right. I know it's everybody loves to, tear into Jerry for things he says and how he words it. And maybe I didn't hear his quote. I was paraphrasing, but maybe he could have worded it a little differently. I don't know, but I don't think he was wrong.
Yeah,
what he was saying, and I know that's not popular.
Right. Yeah. Well, and especially if let's say the Rangers, they go and get super aggressive on the trade market, and and we don't do anything. I think people are going to be a little upset about that. So,
you're right about that. If the teams around you, especially in the division, Astros. Now the Astros just traded Lance McCullers Jr., but he's a guy who's had a hard time staying healthy. But yeah, if they go out and they acquire big bat, or the Rangers do, and the Mariners are just standing pat, then Mariner fans are going to be going, what the hell, man?
Right.
You're right here in the thick of it. It's a 3-team race. 2 other teams are racing, and you're at the starting line still?
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be something to keep an eye on, what the Mariners do versus what the teams that are around them do.
Yeah, and I know, like you said, people are going to be pissed, but I totally agree with you on on that part of it. That's like I was saying earlier. If you get Brendan Donovan back and Matt Brash back, I'll take that.
Yeah, they do need. I still think even with a healthy Brash, you got to go out and find some arms for the bullpen.
Yeah,
1, maybe 2. Now, one of them may be one of the starters, one of the 6 starters. So maybe it's just one from the outside. We'll see. But yeah, that to me is something they still need to address, and we'll see what they do. Also, we'll get a chance to hear what's being said down in the dugout with Justin Hollander addressing the media. Hopefully get an update on Julio, who, again, if you're just tuning in, is not in today's lineup. And we're watching him work out in right field with a trainer, doing some running drills. He's still apparently walking around with sunglasses inside as well. So still some sensitivity to light. We'll see what the prognosis is there. Meanwhile, he's one of the most informative and entertaining voices in baseball. We're going to catch up with Trevor May. That's coming your way next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mariners are back from the All-Star break.
Every game from here on out should have a little bit more urgency.
Especially in the American League. One good stretch, and you're back in this thing.
Tonight, it's the Mariners and Giants at T-Mobile Park as the sprint to defend the AL West pennant begins.
I look at the roster and I say, this is enough if these guys go out there and play the way they're supposed to.
7:10 first pitch, pregame at 6 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife, and on average, 1 in 8 men in the U.S. will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during their lifetime. Many treatments are available, especially locally, but I recently spoke with someone who underwent treatment for prostate cancer back in February. Tim Hunter, he's a lifelong local radio host, and Tim underwent Swedish Cyberknife treatment the week after the Super Bowl, and it was literally a week. All it took was 5 days in a row, with each session lasting less than an hour, and he chose Swedish Cyberknife because it was only 5 days of treatment versus several months with other treatments. And on top of that, Swedish Cyberknife had by far the least interruption to his daily life. No surgery, no catheter, and the recovery was incredibly quick. Tim heard about the Cyberknife treatment from our radio commercials right here on this show, just like you are hearing right now. So if you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate, and remember, you don't need a physician's referral. Again, that's swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Ready to relax, unwind, and feel your best? The Spa Warehouse Summer Savings Expo is on now. Enjoy big savings on in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. Hot tubs start as low as $3,999 with savings up to $3,000 on select models. Score incredible deals on in-stock swim spas. Save up to $7,700. Plus, interest-free financing through 2028 on approved credit. The expo ends July 31st. Don't delay. Your best life starts at the Spa Warehouse.
Summer is here, and it's time to break through your weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and we have a proven system that can help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 8 weeks. Whether you need a nutrition plan to complement your GLP injections, or you're like many of our clients who don't want to worry about ongoing monthly costs, giving yourself shots, or uncomfortable side effects. Either way, our program provides the support, accountability, and structured nutrition plan so you can achieve your results for the long term. Schedule your free phone consult at eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Look, this plan does work. It's Mike Salk here, and I used Eastside Weight Loss Clinic to lose 35 pounds. Just recently, I heard about one of our listeners who lost 40 pounds. How about that? The plan will teach you lifelong habits to continue eating the food you love while losing weight.
We've helped over 4,000 people lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 8 weeks. Come to our clinic in Kirkland or do the program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossklinik.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends over there at People Come First Construction Group. You know I love my acronyms, PCF. They designed and built our outdoor living space for Molly and I, and we just loved it. And right now, PCF is making it easier than ever to get started on your new dream deck with 50% off your custom professional design and architectural drawing package. That means you can save over $9,000 on your project. And with 12 months of no interest, no payment financing, you can design your deck now and pay later. You know, most people who start with a design package end up with the exact outdoor space they've always wanted and dreamed of. This offer is your first step. Do what we did and contact PCF Construction Group today. Get your project ideas, browse amazing photos, and find all the offer details at PCFgroup.com. That's PCFgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. With People Come First.
Cool cars, cool people, good tires. It's the Good Guys 38th Griot's Garage Pacific Northwest Nationals, a giant car show featuring over 3,000 of the Northwest's finest hot rods, muscle cars, classic trucks, and more. Enjoy live music, a free family fun zone featuring the Auto World Model Car Make and Take, and Earth-Shaking Nitro Thunderfest, and more. Happening July 24th through the 26th at the Washington State Fair Event Center in Puyallup. Details at good-guys.com.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to it. Second half of the season starts tonight here at T-Mobile Park. They welcome the struggling San Francisco Giants to town, and they're going to send Bryce Miller to the hill. The lineup looks a little bit different, with everybody hoping that Julio Rodriguez will be up and ready to go. That is not the case, at least in Game 1, as your lineup looks like this. Crawford, Arozarena, Canzone, Raley, Naylor, Young, Raley in right field, and then Robles will be playing center field along with Colt Emerson at shortstop. So Julio not in the lineup for Game 1 of this series against the Giants, which you'll catch right here starting at 6 o'clock with the pregame. 7:10 first pitch, Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mariners getting set to kick off the second half of the season, and we get a little perspective from the outside, Dave. We're so close to this, it's hard to be objective at times. It's good to have outside eyes who knows what they're looking at, a man who did it at the highest level, and he's now part of the dark side. He's part of the media. You got his YouTube page, Trevor May Baseball. You got Mayday Baseball on YouTube as well, and he is with us to talk some baseball. The one, the only Trevor May is with us. How are you, man?
I am great, guys. Thanks for having me. I hope you had a good All-Star break.
It was needed. I think it was needed for this team out here. As you might imagine, the little frustration heading into the break. This is not where we expected this team as Mariner fans. They signed Naylor for the whole season. They go out and get Donovan. They just felt like they really bolstered this roster, and it just injuries and not, lack of performance, what have you. How as a player, when you look at a break like this, is this something, if you're struggling, you go, man, I can't wait to get that break, or is it I can't wait to get back to sort of right the ship?
Yeah, I think it's a little combination of both. Breaks are always good. This is a big, important part of the season. You just don't get many days off, and especially if the team isn't kind of fired on all cylinders quite yet altogether. A lot of times that's like little nagging stuff or fatigue, or, they did play very deep into the playoffs last year, played every single playoff game they could have possibly played, barring going to the World Series, which I'm sure would have went to 7 had they gone there too. So they played a lot of games. They had a shorter off season. That stuff is to be expected to a point. And sometimes it takes the All-Star break to kind of get your feet under you. So as a player who's actually done that myself, sometimes those 4 days can be huge, a huge reset. A lot of guys go home. You get to kind of, it feels like a different season when you come back, and sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's bad, but usually when things have already not gone the way you wanted to, any sort of change of pace is welcome.
Hey, Trevor, as a former pitcher, the Mariners, they have an excess of starters, and they've gone with the 6-man rotation, the piggyback thing. Have you ever been any part of anything like that? And what was your thought on the way the Mariners are handling their pitching staff?
Yeah, I have been part of, or at least been in the conversation as like a 5 or 6 in a rotation, and I've also been a part of the piggyback situation. It's very common in the minor league, especially like in AAA when you're trying to keep a lot of guys available to go up and down between the big leagues. Back when I was in AAA, it was much more common to kind of go yo-yo up and down. The rules weren't quite as strict as they are now for that, and so and then there was also a lot of starters who were starting in the minors and then going up and like being bullpen help in the big leagues. That was much more common as well. So yeah, it was definitely something that I've had to think about being ready to do. But I think that, and that's actually really interesting about what they're doing with the piggyback guys, because it's usually not done in the big leagues this way. But when you have 6 very good starting pitchers and with Emerson Hancock kind of just saying, hey, like I need to not go anywhere, which I think is the difference this year than it has been in the past, because he's usually the guy that's been left out of these 6. It's a good problem to have. But it is tough, because sometimes you just kind of want to be able to identify guys' roles, make sure they know they can prepare to start a game versus coming in out of the bullpen. It's not as easy as it looks to do, but they've handled it well. And the fact that they were all guys who are established, which with that comes some, you usually get a little bit of control over, or at least you can get feedback like, I would prefer to start. They're all kind of seasoned enough, and for them to all just buy in and say, hey, we're all in this together. Nobody's getting special treatment here. Even the guys making more money than the other guys, like that is actually something that I think is a little bit more unique than a lot of other teams would have. There's really no egos there. But I think that they're handling it well. It's interesting, because I'm like, I look at all these guys, I'm like, if this guy were just a bullpen guy, or they made him the bridge that could throw 2 innings to get him to the back end, it maybe even be better. But like, again, I think that if it ain't broke, don't fix it, at least in terms of the starting pitching.
To this point, they've had success with it. They've also been burned by it a bit. You're one arm short in the bullpen, obviously, when you're carrying 6 starters. They're also down Matt Brash, a leverage arm there. So we've seen them get put in some tough situations based on the absence of that arm and Matt Brash. And to Bryce Miller's credit or detriment, however you want to look at it, he's been pretty candid about not being a huge fan of what's going on. It sounds like he would just rather pick your 5 and let's roll with it. He hasn't put it in those words, but he's putting that message out there, it feels, and it's been a little discombobulated. I'm wondering, from your perspective as a pitcher, do you need clarity? Do you need them just to go, look, guys, here is the plan moving forward. Whether you love it or hate it, we're going 5 or we're going 6, or because it seems like they're kind of vacillating between piggyback. Okay, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to go 6-man, and it feels like there's an uncertainty to it.
Yeah, I mean, uncertainty is a big thing that if you can avoid it for a pitching staff, that's usually a better situation than the other way. I was especially a guy, like, I can't tell you how many times I would get a little bit not to just guess and kind of stay up for the whole game, kind of like that's mostly for relievers, but like the same thing stands. It sounds like Bryce Miller's like, I just want to know how my preparations should look. That would just make it much easier to me in guessing and constantly having to ask questions and constantly adjust. I know is just making, maybe even if it's only 10% less effective, like having that uncertainty is adding this maybe inability to be as effective as I could be, and that can be frustrating at times. And I get it. I don't think it's an ego thing. I think it's just he wants to know one way or the other, because I know that he knows he can do whatever that job is. If they said, hey, we need you to close today, he'll be like, absolutely, let's do it. I don't think that's what it is. I just think it's just the knowing one way or the other.
Trevor, who's your favorite pitcher? Who do you think is the best? Who's the ace in this rotation right now?
Oh, that's a good one. I'll be honest. The guy I always bounce back to, and that I would always probably assume I would give the ball game one, would be Logan Gilbert. Walter is a different guy out there, but also I just think he has the ability to maybe take over a game a little bit more than the other guys at this time, and he's kind of been a little bit more consistent with that. But with this group, if we're going into a playoff series, and I'm Darren Wilson, I'm going with the hottest hand at the moment, and they can start in game 1, because I just don't think you can really go wrong, and I think everyone else would understand that as well. So they're just all so interchangeable, and they're all similar in a lot of ways, and they have enough differences to where you can match up pretty well. And I think that also has a lot to do with why they're so willing to do this 6-man rotation thing too, is just the interchangeability of these guys is pretty much unlike any other rotation. And they've been this way for, 3-4 years now, which is also pretty impressive. But I would say, long term, more often than not, I'm usually choosing Logan Gilbert.
When you look at this team, Trevor, I'm curious, we're approaching the trade deadline, and we're all looking at an offense that is wildly underperforming. The pitching staff, for the most part, has been fantastic. Do you look at it and say this is a team that needs to add to that lineup? If they're serious, they need to do that. They need to add to the bullpen. Or do you look at it and say, well, look, once you get Donovan back, assuming he's healthy, and hopefully Cal can get somewhere close to the threat that he was last year, and Julio comes back healthy, everybody's healthy, they're going to be fine? Or do you feel like, no, they're still a little bit short?
I would say the thing that's so impressive is how the other guys have stepped up, in the lower production from the guys you just mentioned, the young guys stepping up, and Cole Young and Dominic Canzone leading the team in home runs. Like, they're getting production. To be honest, them being 48 and 49, it could be a lot worse with the way that Cal Raleigh's played, the way Josh Naylor's played, with the production they've gotten from the guys that they usually depend on to produce. But if I'm counting on Julio Rodriguez, which has not failed us yet, I'm sure we'll see something special at that time. Second half is his half. But I wouldn't be surprised if they add a depth piece, maybe some more flexibility, maybe a defensive first guy to help, maybe someone who can run, because currently right now Josh Naylor is second on the team in stolen bases. Maybe something in that realm, I would say, in the position players, because I think that a healthy Brendan Donovan solves just he's kind of a keystone. I thought this was going to be the case going into the season. His absence. I mean, we're seeing his absence because he's so good at getting on base. He's so good at not striking out. He's so good at putting good AVs together and playing good defense. And they've kind of just missed that. And I think that, we got to see what he does. We still have a little bit of time here for the trade deadline. I really think the back end of the bullpen, there are options. There are teams that might be willing to part with some guys there who could be really real big weapons that they could add to kind of help with the absence of Brash, maybe even take some pressure off Munoz. I think that maybe is the top priority with the position player being directly below it, because I just think that you can't. I got to expect that Cal's going to turn it on to a level. I'm not expecting to see last year Cal, but he's not a 169 hitter. That's just not who he is. A couple days off, fully healthy, some rest. If he can just get back up to even baseline Cal up to last year, I think that would make this team kind of be able to pull away, because for them to be where they are right now with really the poor performance out of quite a few guys at the plate that we were expecting to hit a little bit better, and the absence of Brendan Donovan. If the pitching holds and they add one more run a game, it's going to be a whole different story.
All right, Trevor, I'll put you on the spot again. Outside of Luis Castillo, because you're probably not a good trade candidate because of his age and his contract and everything, but of the other 5 pitchers in that rotation, which one would you trade? Would it be the same? Is Logan Gilbert the one that brings back the biggest haul?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of teams that are, when it comes down to the playoffs and preparing yourself for a postseason run, you need your top 3 starting guys, and guys that you feel like you will let go if it's the 5th inning and you're still going into the 6th, and you feel confident they can still get guys out in the 6th inning. If this were 2005, you'd look at me like I'm crazy. Everyone should be able to do that, but that's not how the game is anymore. And Logan Gilbert is that guy, probably the best version of that guy in this rotation right now. And I would say, yeah, he's probably the highest sought after prize and then the other guys after that, it's going to come down to, what's controllability look like, and then what does their salary look like past this year? That's gonna factor in more. But everyone needs a top end 1 or 2, and Logan Gilbert, I think people would slot in that spot, and he's that guy for this team though. So you don't trade your number 1 when you're right here. I think that it's much more likely. You mentioned Castillo. That is probably the one they'd be most open to getting rid of. Or parting with, not getting rid of. That's wrong way to say that. And then maybe followed by, I would say, probably Kirby or Hancock after that. But this opportunities come up every single year, and they just don't. It's just not something that they'll touch. But they also have 6 guys that all pitching up to their potential, and I think it would be crazy to let Bryce Miller go, because he also could take over games as well. So, but Logan Gilbert. Yeah, I think that's the one that they're going to get the most calls about for sure.
Hey, looking at the division, do you see it settling? I mean, doesn't seem like any team wants to run away with this thing. It's right there for the taking. Everybody's kind of hanging around the same spot right now. The Rangers are up by a game and a half, but they've been back. The Astros are lingering, and the A's have faded along with the Angels. So it feels like a 3-team race here, with the Mariners being the 3rd. Does it feel like the Mariners should be running away with this, or do you feel like we're not giving enough credit maybe to the Rangers or the Astros at this point?
I strongly believe, and I live up here. I grew up a Mariners fan, so there might be some bias here. But I do think that the Mariners they're the most complete team. I think they have their group of guys. They have the group of guys that they want, and it's just underperformance at the plate from some very key members that have produced this season. Those guys are still there, and they still have an opportunity to turn it around to a level, and I think that would allow them to go on a little bit of run. They just have to rattle off a couple sweeps in a row, and then it's to put some space, and then I think the other teams will kind of slot in. I just don't feel the same way about Texas has some very good players, but they're also a little bit in flux. I don't think that if you asked if they were a finished product, that they would, their executives would say that they feel like this is their core for a long time. And I think the same thing goes for the Astros. I think the Astros pitching is wildly inconsistent, and they can't really hang with the Mariners in that way. The other two are kind of maybe not quite finished products yet. I think the Mariners are. It's just underperforming. So it's about just executing and just making sure that you have more runs than the other team at the end of the game. And I think the Mariners are the best position to do that consistently. It's almost as if all the wheels in the car are turning at different rates. And if you just get them synced up, that you pull away a little bit.
Hey, Trevor, I spent a lot of time this morning on Trevor May baseball on YouTube, and you have a segment with super weird baseball moments. And, people throwing baseballs on the field, empty stadiums. The one that stood out to me the most was the fans getting involved in fights. Saw a guy come down there and throw his drink at a player. Which one of those weird moments stood out the most to you?
Yeah, the very famous Rangers Padres brawl game where they got into, I don't know what it was, like 7 or 8 different brawls. That game would have been if it happened now, it wouldn't have got past the 3rd inning. That one was probably the craziest one. The fans feeling like they could just jump on the field and join the fight, and then no one really noticed right away. Was one of the craziest ones. Obviously, the disco demolition is one of the most infamous, just absolute stupid ideas that anyone ever had for a baseball promotion. But yeah, the brawl game was probably one of the Ty Cobb replacement game in the 1910 was one of the funnier moments where they just got a bunch of people from outside the park to play the game, and they lost by 22 runs. That was a pretty good one too.
We've actually seen some games like that this year where we've seen teams score over 20 runs in a game, professionals. It's amazing to see that happen. Hey, Trevor, before we let you go, I got to ask you about just the future of the sport as it sits right now. I think everybody who follows the sport closely anticipates a lockout in December. We know the bargaining is happening. They're exchanging offers. It feels like every year we hear, or every time this comes up, we hear salary cap. And every player, former, current, I hear talk about it. It's a non-starter, yet it comes up again. So what's your level of optimism that we avoid a work stoppage? And then I guess part 2 of that question would be, is salary cap still something you think is just an immediate non-starter?
One, how I feel about there being work stoppage, I am the only thing I'm confident that there will be at this point is there likely will be some sort of games missed or some sort of adjustment made there. Just because the actual proposal coming from the ownership group has not been explicitly a salary cap since 1993. Right. And we know what happened then, but they preemptively had a strike before the lockout happened for the reason, but they would have been locked out had they not taken it. They saw the writing on the wall. That same thing happens now. Do I think the players will strike before the World Series? I don't. I don't think that is something that's going to happen, but I do think the lockout will extend because until I think both sides agree on what the system framework's going to be, we won't have any movement, and that's going to be a long time before the players simply are not going to accept the salary cap as a framework because, frankly, they don't believe, and I tend to agree with them, they don't believe that it is necessary to solve the problems that have been put forth, and they don't think that it meaningfully solves those problems either way, and that we have a lot of the mechanics already put in place that can just be adjusted and that they would be willing to negotiate on in order to reach the solutions to some of these problems, like the overspending at the top, the floor. There's some pretty simple solutions being put forward that the owners haven't put those forward because it's not actually about the problems they put forth. It's a problem that only affects them, that they're only worried about, and that's franchise values. And they want those to go up, and the only way to do that is with salary cap. So they're kind of hardlining, and the players are kind of hardlining as well, because once you accept a salary cap, accept the premise of a salary cap, that's precedent in law. And once you set precedent, there's no going back. There's no going back. We've seen that with every other sport. And someone else said, I can't remember who said it at the All-Star game, but they made a very, very good point that, yes, all the other leagues have a salary cap. Yes, the NFL has a salary cap, and every single player hates it. So, and they can't tell you because they can be fined up to $50,000 for saying stuff like that, which was put in that CBA when they took the salary cap. And so they're also under a gag order, which probably isn't a great situation for if you want an ability to voice your displeasure about something that you don't like. Losing that ability to do that probably means that the deal wasn't as good as it could be. For the players, that is. It works great for Jerry Jones and the group, but it hasn't meaningfully really changed competitiveness outside of the fact that you can turn your season around quickly. You can be really bad one year and be really good the next. But also in football, you get a good quarterback and you can do that. So it's just a different game. Like, it's just, baseball doesn't work like that. So yes, I think there is a problem. I think that the spending is out of control at the top. I think that there needs to be a floor. I also think there is some very simple adjustments you can make outside of having a hard cap one way or the other to solve that problem. That doesn't need to happen, no matter how much the ownership group says that is the only way to do it.
He is Trevor May. You can catch him on YouTube. Does a great job. If you're a baseball nut, this is the guy you want to listen to. Trevor May Baseball on YouTube, May Day on YouTube as well. Some really cool stuff up there. Trevor, always good to catch up with you, man. We know you're busy. Appreciate you cutting out some time for us, and hopefully we get a chance to talk again down the road.
Of course, guys. Thanks for having me.
There you go. There's Trevor May. Always a good conversation. Appreciate his time. If you guys missed any part of that, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show. Just go to seattlesports.com, click the podcast tab, and click on our picture. And it's waiting for you after the show each and every night. And don't forget, click subscribe. It's totally free, and then it just shows up for you every day. You don't have to worry about remembering anything. Meanwhile, what will look different tonight for the Mariners? We're going to get into that coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mariners are back from the All-Star break.
Every game from here on out should have a little bit more urgency.
Especially in the American League. One good stretch, and you're back in this thing.
Tonight, it's the Mariners and Giants at T-Mobile Park as the sprint to defend the AL West pennant begins.
I look at the roster and I say, this is enough if these guys go out there and play the way they're supposed to.
7:10 first pitch, pregame at 6 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hey fans, it's Rick Riz. I love making exciting calls every night, but there's a call I'm really excited to make in just days when I can say goodbye glasses. I'm having a refractive lens exchange, RLE from K2 Vision, to get rid of readers, glasses, and contacts. Plus, I'll never get a cataract. For decades, I've had to call ball games using readers to see my notes, then over them to see the field. On and off. It was brutal. But no more. K2 Vision RLE is my permanent solution to a lifetime of great vision. Holy smokes. Talk about experienced veterans. The K2 Vision RLA team has done over 150,000 lens procedures. I trust their stuff and them. Stay tuned. I'll keep you posted on my results. So enjoy life with no readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Get your free Zoom consult now at K2VisionRLE.com. Then you can make the call. Goodbye glasses. K2VisionRLE.com.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
Looking for a new Mazda? Check out Mazda of Everett during the More to Move You sales event. As the West Coast's largest Mazda dealer, they have over 700 new Mazdas in stock and are known for always offering the Mazda of Everett price. Awarded Mazda's President's Award 13 years in a row and ranked among the top 20 Mazda dealers in the USA for customer service. Shop at 11409 Highway 99 in Everett or MazdaofEverett.com. Dealer awards and rankings based on Mazda USA reporting and data.
Les Schwab Tires has been proudly serving communities for over 70 years, and we've collected thousands of inspiring stories. Like Kate, who was off on a long road trip with her best friend when the dash lit up like a game show. They find the nearest Les Schwab. Turns out they really needed an oil change. It was done in a flash. Road trip saved. At Les Schwab, we're proud to keep you rolling. Les Schwab Tires. Our greatest story is yours. Stories are composites inspired by real customer feedback.
Ooh, that face. Quantum fiber internet loves that face.
That's Jamila.
Gauge Jamila.
She's thinking outside the box from inside the box.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi keeps her meeting game strong. From the back door to the front lawn.
Rushing all of the video calls, back to back video calls.
Quantum fiber internet blowing the soxies of all those people in all those boxes. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Additional pods may be needed to achieve Wi-Fi coverage in some locations. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
Long days call for lots of golf. Hey, it's Graz here, encouraging you to book a tee time between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. at your local premier course, like Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inner Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Padden, Leeds Memorial, Linwood, and Walter Hall. In Western Washington, you know you're never far from a premier course. It accommodates all skill levels, and with affordable rates, you can book a tee time and truly enjoy the summer. If you're not in the mood for walking, play Top Tracer at the range at Inner Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park. Play the courses. Play Premier.
The countdown is on.
Just 8 days
until Seahawks training camp on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, how can I help?
Well, my husband and I feel like we've outgrown our current money manager.
I see.
Our lives have changed, and we need something more than just mutual funds to help us in retirement.
She's right.
I hear that often. At Fisher Investments, we'd start by getting to know you, your finances, family, health, lifestyle. We tailor a portfolio around your goals and needs.
Sounds good.
Can you help with estate planning?
Yes. We have a team of specialists who can help you with estate planning, Social Security, investment income, and more. We'll get to know your whole financial picture and help keep you on the path to a comfortable retirement.
And your fees?
We have a simple, transparent fee that's a percentage of the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
I feel better already.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com/different. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Baseball is back. We are at T-Mobile Park. Mariners getting set for the second half of the season, even though mathematically they're well beyond that, Dave. I think, what are there, like 66 games left? Something like that? I mean, anyway. We're past the...
I can't do the math.
Yeah, that's a lot of math.
Neither can our texters.
Addition is right. Neither can the texters. All right. Well, texters, you can take your shots at us. We got Mean Text coming up at 5:45 today at 866-979-3776. What are you going to say, Lefko?
Well, say here's the easy math. Texters equal dumb.
Is that a mathematical equation?
There you go.
I'm sure that was a mathematical equation, but it's your opinion. So,
all right,
yeah.
Texters plus texting in equals not awake yet.
There you go.
I can feel the venom bubbling behind the scenes. They're going to be texting in some very hurtful mean texts at 866-979-3776. Meanwhile, we're looking to see what this Mariner team looks like out of the gates in the second half of the season, sitting just a game and a half back of the Texas Rangers, who are in front of them. We'll see what they look like without Julio in the line. Well, you know what that looks like. Hopefully we're not going to see it for much longer, and we'll play you a bit of what Justin Hollander had to say coming up at 5 o'clock with some of the updates on Julio and Brendan Donovan, who will be taking his rehab to Tacoma tonight.
That?
He's DHing tonight. He'll be in Tacoma, so that's good. Step up. Not in the field yet, so I'm not sure what that means in terms of, you know, his pace and where they see him. Obviously, he's recovering well. Otherwise, they wouldn't throw him in another game. So we'll see what he does out there, but hopefully he's going to be here sooner than later and get an update on Matt Brash, who I don't think is going to be here real soon.
Yeah, it sounds like that one's going to be disappointing for a lot of fans.
I feel like he's just a guy we're going to have to look at and go, he's probably going to miss time each year.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know if it's just the way he's put together and it's just the way he throws is going to lead to injury, but that's been his story to this point in his brief career, that he's been an injury guy, unfortunately. Yep. So, meanwhile, Jeff Passan was on talking about how much of how much of this falls on the managers, the coaches, when it comes to the mistakes that we were just, at least I was railing about. Just, you can't shoot yourself in the foot the way this team does with some of the boneheaded base running mistakes we've seen from Randy at times and others at times, and some of the errors, some of the things you can control. The team's not good enough. You don't have that kind of slack. And we've talked about, all right, when it's happening at the rate that it's happening, who do you point the finger at? Ultimately, it's always the player. But, we like to point at the hitting coach when the team's not hitting. When they are hitting, the hitting coach is a genius. Well, are we going to pick on I don't know, Eric Young Jr.? Are we going to pick on Perry Hill? Are we going to, who does this fall on? And Jeff was talking about that.
I think the issue here is I look at this through the lens of when my children are acting the fool and not being responsible for the things that they need to be responsible for. How do you emphasize to them that you need to do this while acknowledging that as a staff, I don't know that there's a whole lot you can do once they get between the white lines. Once they're out there, it's on the players. And you can emphasize defense, right? You can take more time doing infield. There are plenty of things that you can do in theory that could help, but level of concentration when you're out there ultimately comes down to the players.
Yeah, which brings me to Randy Arozarena. Mm-hmm. And we talked about him because if you pull up the Mariners stat page on ESPN, and they have, the top 5 stats, at least the leaders.
Right.
Randy Arozarena is leading 4 of 5 categories. And the categories are batting average, home runs, RBI, on-base percentage, hits. Mm-hmm. And so 286 batting average, 45 RBI, 380 on-base percentage, 93 hits. Dom Canzone has the most home runs with 15, but 4 of the 5 he just dominates. But what about what he's doing in left field? And that kind of embodies what we're talking about and what Jeff Passan is talking about there. It's like, okay, you can give him all the tools and everything, but once the game starts, it's up to you. And that's the one thing that's been really frustrating. And whenever we talk about like sloppy play, every once in a while we'll talk about, somebody getting picked off on the base paths or not paying attention or, didn't Randy Arozarena start to go where it was ball 3?
He started jogging to second.
Yeah.
He thought it was a walk. I mean, he's also been picked off, I think, 2 or 3 times where he looked like he was starting to steal or just acting like he was got too far off base and they threw him out. And he's got some moments outside of at the plate that you're just going, I don't know what's happening there, and I'm not sure what Dan or Perry or anybody else could do other than say, look, if that happens again, you're going to be sitting next to me.
Right, but
then you're taking the best bat, your most consistent bat out of the order. So maybe that's not a realistic threat. I don't know. I don't know how you fix that.
Yeah,
when it's that consistent.
And some of those things, and look, maybe I'm counting that too much, but again, the record that they have, Cal's not going, Julio's not going right now, and you just go, well, he's our leading offensive production as far as the player goes. So yeah, I mean. And the one in Pittsburgh, was it in Pittsburgh? Yeah, where the ball was not out of bounds. It was a fair ball, and he was treating it as if it were going foul, and he just kind of jogged over there, and it hits like 3-4 feet inside the line.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things, they stand out. So, and that's the thing, I think, especially for fans, they're going, hey, man, this is an emergency. We got a great opportunity with the AL West being the way that it is. Why aren't we taking advantage of it? And, the fact that it's Randy Arozarena and he's, your best offensive player right now.
Your only all-star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it just, it's very frustrating, and I think it's a good question. I'm with Passan. I mean, like, you can only do so much, right? I mean, the only other thing you can do is bench somebody.
Yeah, and in this situation, this isn't like a football team where you've got 53 guys there, and you've got other guys that could pick up the slack behind this guy if he gets. If you bench a starter and you're saying, well, his backup isn't as good, you got other guys who can kind of cover for that in a sense. And I guess technically in a lineup, you presumably have other guys that could hit or do things better. But I don't know. I just think it's a harder thing to do, certainly with a smaller roster, with a singular individual who's responsible for a lot of what's happening in a positive way in your lineup. And you're going to tell him, hey, man, you're going to have a seat. It's like you're shooting yourself in the foot at that point.
Right.
I think it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot, but that's what you get paid the big bucks to be a manager for. And Jeff offers a few ideas for what Dan Wilson can do to help the messaging with this team.
I don't know if that's a meeting, that maybe Dan Wilson is in charge of, or maybe he delegates out to some of the player leaders in the clubhouse. I don't know if that's individual sit-downs with guys saying, this is what we want you to be in the second half. And as much as we preach all of these all-encompassing traits and characteristics that we want our players to be, every individual is a little bit different, and maybe to reach those needs to hear different things. So individualized plans, but an emphasis on very simple whole team ideals that they can attack.
I've got to believe that they've pulled individuals aside. I don't know this. I'm just assuming. Don't you think that Dan and the maybe the hitting coaches get together with some of the guys in the lineup, and Dan separately, or some of the field, Perry gets together with some of the infielders, or talking to Naylor about his just specifics like, hey man, here's what I'm thinking for the second half. Let's focus on this, or let's, remember when you were doing this and it felt, it was working out, so let's focus on doing that more, or whatever. Just some sort of individualized. Here's what I see with you in the second half. Here's how I think we can really get things going on the right foot, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that most fans feel like Dan is too nice of a guy to do that and to be, harsh and get on somebody. And so, and I think that's maybe the number one complaint. Maybe Dan's not like that behind closed doors. Maybe he is like rough on guys and said, hey man, we're going to have to sit you down. I know this, what he was talking about there when he said, is it the players? Do you put that on them? It's really hard when you're not producing to get up in front of a bunch of guys and say, hey guys, we got to tighten this up.
Yeah.
You have to be playing well. You have to be playing your best. So, and that's where, I feel like that's probably what most fans think. I have no idea what Dan Wilson is like behind closed doors. But, he seems like just the nicest guy in the world, and it's really hard to criticize him and everything. But I don't know if people think that he should be doing more screaming and yelling or whatever, but
some do.
What's that?
Some feel like he should do that. More. They want to see him get kicked out of a game or lighting a guy up. Yeah. I don't know that changes their fortunes at all, but
no,
it just seems like a fallback. Like, show some life, show some fire.
Yeah. Well, what good does that really do if it's not getting anything done? The other thing is, we always talk about this, the authenticity of coaches. Like, you have to be consistent. The pros will sniff that out.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden Dan throws this temper tantrum, there's probably going to be people looking at it going, what the hell?
What the hell is he doing?
This isn't you, Dan.
Yeah.
So that's where it's kind of tough for both of those things that he's talking about. Dan isn't that kind of guy. And then as far as the players, who really is in a position to kind of scream and yell at people?
Yeah.
Maybe some guys in the rotation have had good years, like Bryce Miller. And
I think it's hard for a pitcher to talk to your offensive position players.
No, exactly.
Amongst them, they could have that conversation. Luis would be a voice as a veteran, but I think in that clubhouse, I think you got three options. I think it's Cal, I think it's Julio, and I think it's J.P. Crawford.
Yeah.
And J.P.'s he's playing. He always gives a good AB. I think I like him at the plate because he's always. It's a rarity he's going to see three pitches and have a seat. He's going to see a lot of pitches and he's going to give a good at bat. But he's a guy who's had his own issues in the infield, so it'd be hard for him to step up and go, look, man, we got to play cleaner ball. Well, you've been a culprit, So, but he is the longest tenured Mariner. He's a leader. Maybe I don't know. Between the three of them, Those are the three, and they all have their own struggles going right now, as you were just talking about. So it does make it a little harder. We'll see if that break, though, did some good for some of these guys, and maybe they come out a little hotter than they left for the break. Meanwhile, one well-paid NFL wide receiver is complaining about money, which always goes over well. So it's a natural fit for WHYMAN. WHYMAN coming your way next with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile Park. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mariners are back from the All-Star break.
Every game from here on out should have a little bit more urgency.
Especially in the American League. One good stretch, and you're back in this thing.
Tonight, it's the Mariners and Giants at T-Mobile Park as the sprint to defend the AL West pennant begins.
I look at the roster and I say, this is enough if these guys go out there and play the way they're supposed to.
7:10 first pitch, pregame at 6 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Hey, what if I told you a local credit union is giving members up to $30 per month just to make everyday purchases? It's Dave Wyman here. When I heard about the offer from Harborstone Credit Union, I said, sign me up. And that's what I did at harborstone.com/cash. You know, I'm not that much of a tech-savvy guy, but opening a checking account was really easy to figure out. And I got my PNW cash back checking account for free. No fees or minimums, and when I make everyday purchases with my Harborstone PNW cashback debit card, I earn up to $30 each month. That really means a lot to hardworking people. My wife loves it when I get cash back on gas, groceries, coffee, travel, and lunch. All categories count toward your cash back, and you can even tap to pay. That's really easy to figure out. I know that. So if you live, work, or worship in the state of Washington, sign up for a membership with Harborstone Credit Union and get the PNW cash back free checking account. Open your free account online just like I did at harborstone.com/cash, or you can visit one of their 29 branches across the Northwest. That's harborstone.com/cash. Insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change presents wisdom from the road.
Summer means wide open spaces and a whole lot of extra miles. The last place you want your engine to give out is halfway to nowhere. Out here, low oil or a weak battery is just an ambush waiting to happen. That's why every oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change includes an 18-point maintenance check. These techs are trained to help spot issues early and keep you riding easy.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Change wisely.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify a key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Norm. Norm, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
Spending too much money on insurance, and it just kept on going up higher and higher and higher. And this last time I did the First Mark Challenge.
So they were able to save you some money, Norm?
Oh, yeah, at least $2,000 a year.
What?
At least.
Wow. You ever feel like, man, I wish I would have taken that First Mark Challenge earlier?
Yes. I mean, $2,000 I could have saved a year, over probably 4 or 5 years. Wow.
How would you describe their customer service?
Fantastic. Beyond expectation. Call First Mark. They treat you like a real person, that they have your best interest in mind.
Norm did it. My family did it. You got to do it. And it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you like they did Norm, and how much better your coverage will get to. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory I get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Your old water heater's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net. Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater. DayandNight.net.
Just 8 days
until training camp for the Super Bowl champs. And nobody has it covered like the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Let me take you back 104 years ago. The year is 1922. The president is Warren G. Harding. Insulin is a breakthrough diabetes treatment. Betty White is born, and Wayscar Ford opens in Auburn. I mean, think about that. The Ford Bronco Sport I'm driving is from a dealership that's been around for 104 years. How's that possible? Wayscar Ford is a model of consistency, and their secret, it's all about the people, employees and customers, just like you and me. I'm looking at their core values, but they're more than words on paper. They mean it. They care. You know who I actually just texted with a question about the car? The guy I got it from at Wayscar Ford. He's awesome, and so is everyone, from the front desk all the way up to Way himself. Wayscar Ford is celebrating their 104th birthday in Auburn with exclusive deals for loyal customers. No payments for 104 days. Enter to win tickets. Go see them in person and be part of history. The Wayscarf Way. 104 years of service, trust, and community. Wayscarford.com.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So, yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds, too. Get a quote right now at 800-381-4183, 800-381-4183, or biglou.com.
Why, man? Why?
Lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
He's a habitual line stepper.
What were you thinking? What are you doing?
Why are you the way that you are?
It's the Why Man of the Week.
WHYMAN is presented by Mazda of Everett. We start with Odell Beckham Jr. I haven't heard his name in a while. He was on the Pivot podcast, and he was explaining, Dave, why $100 million can disappear really quickly.
I always explain this to people. I'm like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use, save, invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna give my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really $40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting $8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position, like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime. Yeah, this job that I sacrificed my whole life for, they are giving me that. I didn't ask for the certain dollar amount or whatever, but we weren't taught about no financial literacy and all the way. We weren't
talk about it all the time.
We weren't taught this skill.
He lost me at the end.
The NFL specifically has programs to help people to be, good with investments, how to take care of your money.
I think all of the leagues have a version of that.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have the Rookie Symposium.
Yep.
And then, like, we talked to Max Strong this week, and he's one of those guys that, I don't know that he gives financial advice, but, he makes the guys aware of all the different programs and everything that you can go to. And I was telling Mike the story that when I was at Merrill Lynch, I got a meeting with some Seahawks players, and put on this presentation and we talked about depreciating assets like jewelry, cars, things like that. And my advice was, hey, look, I real estate, always, it's solid as the devil. You're buying your mom a house. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
That's good. It's an appreciating asset. So, yeah, I mean, it's for him, we weren't taught that. That's the outrageous part. The most outrageous part is that he can't survive on $100 million. And he's right.
It's only 60, Dave.
It's not $100 million. You do have to pay taxes and everything, but come on, dude.
Well, but I like when he started breaking it down. He goes, so that's $12 million a year, but you're going to spend like $4 million. So that's really like $8 million a year.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
you're spending
okay,
$4
I'm still trying to find the problem here. You have to live on $8 million a year. So basically, I think that was his obviously clumsy way of saying, well, the contract it says $100 million, but it doesn't mean I've got $100 million in the bank. Okay.
Yeah.
But when you start breaking it down like that, like I'm going to buy a car, you got to flaunt it. I'm going to buy my mom a house. So I'm going to spend $4 million a year. That means I've got only $8 million a year to play with.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't think people are understanding the problem. And then he starts going, well, people that aren't in our position don't understand. I'm like, I think they have a very clear understanding of the waste.
Yeah.
Of the fact that you are looking at, what, $40 million at that point and saying, you expect me to make that last?
Yeah. No, it's crazy. And then, there's also an NFL 401k that you should max out. And I remember guys that wouldn't do that. And I'm like, why would you not do that?
Yeah.
Even when I was a player, I was just like, man, it's that's pretty crazy. He is a receiver.
Yeah, he seems a bit out of touch, though.
Yeah.
But I like how he was putting it on the people that aren't in his position that are the ones that are out of touch. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, this isn't coming off the way I think you think it is. It doesn't. You're not making the point I think you think you're making there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this one comes courtesy of Adam Silver at the NBA governors meetings this week. Gives another breadcrumb, but no firm promise on an expansion timeline.
Over the last 2 days, there were discussions both at the committee level and before the board from Paul Taubman, our outside banker, about how the process is going, what he's hearing from the groups. As I said earlier, price is one component, but I think there was as much interest in who the groups would be, what the overall composition of ownership, and of course where they would play. I'm still hopeful, again, that this process would be wrapped up by year end, and I feel we're very much on track.
So they'll make a decision. It sounds like something by the end of the year. In December, we'll hear something. I don't know if that's going to it's a little vague. Like, okay, are we going to hear this franchise has been is going to be established in Seattle, in Las Vegas, and we have our owners in place, and we've done it, or is it just what's the next step? I feel like this is just getting pushed down the road.
The next step is going to be that we're going to hear very soon that it's going to be at the end of 2027. And then it's going to be, 2028 because we had to do this and that. And then, basically I'm like listening to that and what we've heard for, 5, 6, 10 years now.
Yeah.
I think 2030, Bob.
Okay.
There we go.
Getting a little numb.
That's pretty much what we've heard from him.
Kind of, yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, I've lost as much optimism as I gained in the All-Star break. I've lost that with the NBA. Yeah. I was much more optimistic about the timeline, and every time I hear him speak, it's like, all right, I guess it's gonna happen, but maybe not as soon as we thought. And that was 4 years ago, saying it should happen within the next 2-3 years, and I don't know. We'll see. It happens when it happens.
I don't think anybody believes him.
No. Meanwhile, the 2026 Seahawks season begins today for one group of players. We're going to get into that coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
Back on February 8th, the countdown started at 167 days.
3, 2, 1.
Right after the clock showed zeros.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
Now we're less than 2 weeks away. 8 days until Seahawks training camp begins.
We know that we're target number 1 now.
And nobody covers Seahawks training camp like the home of the Super Bowl champs, Seattle Sports.
After years of football and the injuries that go with it, my first thought was always go get surgery. Hey, it's Dave Wyman, but after a consultation with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, my eyes were open to an alternative to surgery, and I'm talking about stem cell therapy. Well, and my buddy and co-host Bob Stelton, also in pain, and decided to go see Dr. Wagner.
I had a hip issue from 14 years of jiu-jitsu.
How's the pain now?
Everything I did before, I can do just as well. Hitting the heavy bag, sparring, rolling, all of that is back in play. This whole thing has been such a pleasant surprise because I really was of the mindset, I'm going to have to go under the knife. I'm going to have to get surgery. And this really saved me from that. I could not be happier with the results.
Whether it's a hip like Bob had, a shoulder, a knee, a wrist, an ankle, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine.
Do it. You will not regret it.
Hey, get the facts, hear from all the patients I've talked to, and schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Do you have a wood deck that could use a little TLC this season? Start by giving it a good cleaning to remove dirt, pollen, or any mold or mildew. Then, if you're left with gray wood and decide you want to restain, use a wood brightener product first. Finally, when you're ready to bring life and color back into your deck, choose Penifin Ultra Premium Red Label Wood Stain. Its highly penetrating Brazilian rosewood oil formula provides superior protection for your wood deck. Penifin Red Label Wood Stain, on sale now at Dunn Lumber.
Need a lift? Levitt Machinery is now your authorized JCB dealer in Washington and Oregon. From telehandlers to track and wheel loaders to excavators, JCB equipment is built to work as hard as you do. Whether you buy, rent, or lease, Levitt Machinery is here to support you. With expert service and local parts in stock, LevittMachinery.com. Talk to Levitt Machinery today. Stack it, reach it, lift it, Levitt.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Come in, have fun. Muckleshoot.
Les Schwab Tires has always believed that taking care of people is the right thing to do. Today, that means more than trusted service. It means delivering real value, too. That's why we're lowering prices on hundreds of tires without changing the service and expertise you've always counted on. Consumer Reports named Les Schwab the best tire retailer for 2026. We'll keep working every day to earn your trust. See leschwab.com for details.
Drip Drop is doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro sports teams. Drip Drop is engineered to hydrate faster and more effectively than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code RADIO20 for 20% off your first order. That's dripdrop.com, promo code RADIO20.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners getting back to business. Second half of the season gets underway tonight as they host the San Francisco Giants in town for a 3-game series. Game 1 coming your way tonight at 6 p.m. with the pregame show. 7:10 first pitch right here. Seattle Sports on 7:10 is where you're going to find it. They send Bryce Miller to the hill. He faces off against Landon Roop. Lineup looks a little different. Hoping to see Julio out there in the lineup. He is not in it for game 1. J.P. Crawford will lead off, followed by Randy Arozarena, Dominic Canzone, Cal Raleigh, Josh Naylor, Cole Young, Luke Raley, Victor Robles, and Colt Emerson making up your lineup in game 1.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. A beautiful day for baseball. Perfect day for the second half of the season to get underway, Dave, and the Mariners to get back into the win column. Right now they've got a one-game streak going? One in a row?
One in a row, if that's a thing.
So let's make it two in a row starting. This is just a team like we talked about to open the show in case you're just tuning in with the Giants coming into town. Giants are just an objectively bad team. They are just a poor team, and this is not a team that you look at and go, well, they're in the thick of it, and they're in the battle with the Dodgers, and no, they're not. They're not. No. This should be a team of sellers. Now, who on the roster is going to be attractive to other teams? Who knows? But this is just a team that the Mariners, being contenders, being in the thick of it in their division, should take care of. You need to take 2 out of 3, if not 3, but at least win the series here to get things started on the right foot. Then you've got Cincinnati coming into town. Then you've got a big series on the road against the team that's currently in front of you in the Texas Rangers.
Yeah. Well, you got Landon Roop. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Roop on the mound, 4.27 ERA. His last outing against Toronto, 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run. So, yeah, I mean, but you look back a couple of starts ago, and 2 2/3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. So hopefully they can get to them. But that's our offense is what we've been talking about, and as much as we talk about the pitching, and the piggyback and the 6-man rotation, it's the offense.
Yeah.
Got to get that going.
Got to get it rolling. So hopefully it starts tonight. Meanwhile, Seahawks rookies report to training camp today. How about that? Do you remember your first day as a rookie reporting to camp? Was it just, was it nerves? Was it where do I go? And then you had somebody like Paul Moyer pointing the wrong direction and telling you
trying to throw me off.
He has you out in the parking lot, and you're supposed to be in the meeting room. But what are they going through today?
I remember Moyer yelling at me in the huddle because he was on the second string defense as well, and I was the second string linebacker, and I was trying to call the huddle, and it was like disjointed, and everybody, he's like, whoa, wait a minute, rookie, get everybody back in the huddle, let's do this again. And I'm like, who is this guy?
It's amazing you guys
I don't see a whistle around your neck.
It's amazing you guys have been friends for as long as you have.
Moyer was a leader, man, and that's where that came from. But I was a little overwhelmed, and it's just one of those things you have to go through, even if you're a first rounder, second rounder.
I bet they make it easier for rookies these days compared to when you were in.
I mean, the hazing thing, that didn't really go on with the Seahawks because Chuck Knox, I guess one year everybody went like overboard.
Yeah.
They broke into rookies' rooms and were spraying them with like fire extinguishers and I guess Chuck woke everybody up at like 4 a.m. and just ripped all the veterans a new one for the hazing thing. And now, there's a mild amount of that going on.
You might have to carry pads.
Yeah, exactly. You might carry some helmets in and everything. But, people realize now, these guys could help us, man.
As we saw last year.
Yeah. So, that's a big deal. And it's much more serious now, about the direction that they're going. But, so for some of these guys, I think it's going to be interesting to see. And I would say, the first 3 picks, you might have to rely on these guys to really step up.
Yeah, I was just going to ask who, if you're looking at that at the draft and you're looking at who they walked away with those picks, who realistically do you think should have an impact? Not saying they need to be Pro Bowlers or maybe even start. Who knows? But just an impact. I don't know if we got another Zabel Eamon combo going this year. Yeah. But what do you think? Is Price a guy you expect to be impactful, or is it Julian Neal? Is it who are the guys in your opinion that should probably be in that conversation?
Yeah, I think Jadarian Price, Bud Clark, and Julian Neal. Now, and whatever you get from the other guys, because those are the first 3 rounds from the draft, and you got a running back there, and just everything I've seen from Price has been very impressive, man. Which not only at the combine, and looking at his film and everything, but just watching him out at practice. He's a very decisive runner, and that's really what you need, especially in this offense. So, yeah, I mean, I think he has to be a contributor, and hopefully, he is gonna push for being, the starter this year. So with Charbonnet being injured,
is Bo Stevens reasonable to? He's a 5th rounder. I think he's a guy. I think some fans are hoping he's an impact guy out of the gates because it's a Bradford thing, right? But I don't look at him as a guy. It doesn't mean he won't get time, does it? And I could be 100% wrong, but he's not somebody, at least in this conversation, I'm going, well, this guy should have an impact. It'd be great if he did, but I don't expect it.
Yeah.
The way I did, obviously, with the guys we just mentioned.
Well, and they traded some draft picks from next year to move up to get him, right? Bo Stevens. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's expectations there, and I think they're in pretty good shape as far as, somebody pushing Anthony Bradford. Maybe it's Mason Richmond. And that's a guy that was a rookie last year. Let's see if he takes that second year jump. I've been looking at him out at practice and just seeing like what I see. So, but yeah, I mean, probably not him. One of my sleepers is this Devin Eastern kid who's a defensive tackle. It's going to be hard to break in with this group because they have such good interior guys. But he was a pretty impressive defensive tackle they got in the 7th round. So kid out of Minnesota. He might be kind of, the sort of dark horse. But, yeah, Bud Clark, you need a replacement for Kobe Bryant. Julian Neal, you need a replacement for Reek Woolen. So, yeah, I mean, I think those top 3 you can maybe expect some good things from. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they handle it and how they take that next step.
Meanwhile, one former Major League Baseball GM made a fascinating admission about the trade deadline. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mariners are back from the All-Star break.
Every game from here on out should have a little bit more urgency.
Especially in the American League. One good stretch, and you're back in this thing.
Tonight, it's the Mariners and Giants at T-Mobile Park as the sprint to defend the AL West pennant begins.
I look at the roster and I say, this is enough if these guys go out there and play the way they're supposed to.
7:10 first pitch, pregame at 6 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Ready to relax, unwind, and feel your best? The Spa Warehouse Summer Savings Expo is on now. Enjoy big savings on in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. Hot tubs start as low as $3,999 with savings up to $3,000 on select models. Score incredible deals on in-stock swim spas. Save up to $7,700. Plus, interest-free financing through 2028 on approved credit. The expo ends July 31st. Don't delay. Your best life starts at the Spa Warehouse.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Harley Exteriors, and if you're like me, you're spending nights on the patio listening to the game and enjoying what makes our area so beautiful. And right now, I have just the offer for you to get the most out of your outdoor living space. $500 off each window, $750 off patio and entry doors, and $200 off your final project. I've loved working with Harley Exteriors. They're a local company right here in Bothell, down-to-earth people who enjoy the same things we all do, rooting on our local teams and doing the best job we possibly can day in and day out. So use Harley Exteriors to complete your home space and receive 12 or 18-month promotional financing. You can get a hold of them by calling 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Qualified buyers only. Subject to credit approval and lender terms. Minimum purchase of 4 qualifying windows required. Windows must be 36 by 36 inches or larger. No size minimum on patio or entry doors. Financing subject to approved credit. Offers cannot be combined with other promotions. Offer expires July 31st, 2026.
Motorcycle accident cases require a thorough investigation by a team of experienced legal professionals if they have any chance of being successful. Insurance companies, juries, and even the police tend to assume the worst about motorcycle riders. Get help from an experienced team of attorneys that have successfully resolved hundreds of motorcycle accident cases over the past 30 years. Call Davis Law Group for a free legal consultation or get my free book on motorcycle accidents at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
When it comes to my policy, Farmers gives it to me straight, so there's no surprises.
It's your coverage. You should never be confused.
You hear that? An insurance provider with a conscience.
We're a choir, but yes, we have that too.
Straightforward coverage you can literally understand.
That's what you get when
you have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. With burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and local service, our promise to the Puget Sound remains the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Yay to Bruce, the streaming king.
With quantum fiber internet, he's gonna binge.
He wants more, he's got to have more.
More bedtime true crime.
More podcasts in the shower.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi has the power. More fast internet speed.
He's got the gigs to go big, bring him the game.
Right now.
And his royal we.
More sports non-stop. His quantum fiber's on top. Yay to you. Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Mariners and Giants tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 7:10. Pre-game at 6. Get every pitch of every game for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman joined by another Swedish cyberknife patient to offer a glowing endorsement of their prostate cancer treatment. Tim Hunter, a lifelong local radio host, underwent Swedish cyberknife treatment for prostate cancer. How did you hear about Swedish cyberknife?
Well, it was this familiar sounding voice on the radio telling me about it, and so I thought I'd investigate that. Everything I heard was what I wanted to hear, and so I reached out.
What's it like to go through the cyberknife treatment?
You do a 5-day-in-a-row stint. You go to the Swedish hospital. They say set aside 45 minutes for each treatment. It's really only about 35 minutes of that little robotic arm dancing around you. There's no pain involved. It's just a matter of listening to music in headphones and trying your best not to move.
Looking back on your Swedish cyberknife experience, what stood out?
It was too easy. It was just too easy. I went through it and I just went, that's it.
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
Cyberknife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
We've been talking about the making of a champion series, the video series the Seahawks have been doing, especially with the Sam Darnold one that came out this week, the conversation that Jem Mueller and John Boyle had with him. A lot of good insight there from Darnold, including kind of talking about the Ernest Jones situation when Jones got up there after the Rams game, had his quarterbacks back, and then we learned that they didn't even talk about that after the fact. Just Ernest Jones did it publicly, and everyone moved on about their business. And Darnold was talking about what it meant to the team, and even though it was something they never talked about, how it kind of came about.
I think it goes to show kind of the personality of Mike and kind of his influence on the team. It's like, we're just going to go out there and do what we do every day, no matter what the circumstances are. And like, yeah, it's going to be raining on a Wednesday and we got to go practice. Like, awesome. You know what I mean? Like, good, the old Jocko clip, but like, it's just great to be able to have a team with the same mindset that your head coach has. And like, I think that's really because of how good of a job Mike does in terms of delivering his messages to the team.
Why would they practice in the rain? Isn't that what he said there?
Yeah.
They got an indoor facility.
I guess to get you used to it.
Yeah, Mike does that every once in a while. He'll go, we're going outside.
You got to play outside sometimes, boys.
Outside. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that that may be the greatest post-game clip we've heard.
I said that yesterday. I go, Bob and I asked for that clip to be played probably, 12 times
at
last
least
season?
It never gets old. It's
No.
just one of those things I can hear over and over and over and appreciate it just as much every time I hear it. I love it. And it was such an honest, candid, raw moment where he wasn't scripted. That was no plan. He was just out. You could just see he was starting to get a little heated, talking about Ernest Jones, for those that don't know what we're talking about. And it was a terrible game for Darnold. Awful. 4 picks in that game. Still had a chance to win at the end.
Yep.
And Ernest Jones just coming out, basically, you got a problem with my quarterback, bleep you.
Yep.
I loved it.
And they never talked about it. And they had to have a little bit, because remember when they started the parade, they had the ceremony over at Lumen Field.
Yeah.
He had the T-shirt on with Sam.
Yeah.
Flipping everybody off. So yeah,
Love it.
That was such a great bond and such great support. And by the way, we'll probably talk about this again. Speaking of Ernest Jones, talk about getting snubbed. He's not even in the top 14 off-the-ball linebackers.
According to who?
The ESPN survey that they did, the top 10 inside linebackers.
Oh, I didn't.
And then
I didn't
there
even
was
see that.
honorable mention, and then it was also ran or something like that.
Was he mentioned?
Also, receiving votes.
Receiving.
Yeah, he
votes.
was receiving votes. He was in the lowest
Really?
category.
Yeah.
But he's one of the top 100 players.
Yeah, that's screwed up though.
That got screwed up too?
No, that whole thing's weird. It's a strange.
I think Sam should come out and say, if you don't have my linebacker in the top 10,
there you go.
bleep you.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go. I'll return the favor.
Sweeping the dial.
Okay, so the Cubs are doing something this year. It's the 10-year anniversary since they won their World Series in 2016. They're having kind of a reunion podcast. It's called the Lovable Reunion Podcast. David Ross and Anthony Rizzo are hosting it, and they had Theo Epstein on this week, and he was talking about the perspective of a GM when it comes to the trade deadline and kind of trying to understand how it would and could affect the clubhouse.
Trade deadline acquisitions in general, like from the outside looking in, or if you take just a purely analytical look at baseball, you don't understand the impact that it has in the clubhouse, because these guys have done all their off-season work, grinded all spring training, put the on the line the whole season, and then they look at the front office like, you guys have one job. You have one job. Like, get us.
That is how we look at the front office during the season.
And trust me, we can feel one job. Like, get us what we need. And like, I've been through years where like you just can't get it because you're asking to be paid like 5x the prices, and you just can't do it, and you feel like you just let everybody down. So take it very personally as an organization. Like, we need to deliver.
I get that. I mean, I think it's perceived by fans looking at it like, well, you didn't get anybody because you didn't want to, or you were cheap, or and that's not always the case. Sometimes the guys just aren't available that fit the holes you have. The other part is, in a year like this year, for instance, I think I'm kind of preparing myself for very little to happen.
Yeah.
Because of what we keep hearing from all of the outside voices about, man, everybody's in this technically, mathematically, and the teams aren't selling, and the ones that are going to do it are going to be asking a premium. So you're not going out and picking up Juan Soto. You're not going out and picking up Paul Skeens. That's not who you're going to get. You're going to be getting maybe a Brendan Donovan level player, but you're going to be paying more than you would in years past. So I'm fully prepared for them not to do much in the way of that, and really relying on the guys they have to get healthy, and more importantly, guys like Cal, Julio, and Naylor to sort of get back to who they're used to being.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm anticipating as well. What was the trade a few years ago? I always forget the guy's name. It was a reliever that we sent down to Houston and got back.
Kendall Graveman.
Yeah. Remember there was a big uprising.
That didn't go well in the clubhouse.
Yeah,
that was poorly received.
Yeah.
that did not go well at all.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, Fanatics, because they have a monopoly on making terrible sports gear, and they get a lot of money doing that, they hold this big convention. It's called Fanatics Fest. It attracts a lot of big names, like Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, was there over the weekend. And someone asked him, there's a Q&A, and someone asked him, hey, where in the world now is the NFL going to go next?
What's one international market you want to have an NFL game in that you haven't had yet?
Not one. I got about 10.
You got a ton.
We had a game in Tokyo, but it was a preseason game, so we want to do a regular season game. Yeah.
A regular season game in Tokyo.
Tokyo. I've played in Tokyo 3 times. Can you believe that? Huh. Well, one game I didn't play. I just went because I was injured at the time. But yeah, I went in college, actually. Played the Arizona Wildcats. I don't think he's going to settle down. Huh?
That's pretty cool.
It was cool. It was cool. I can tell you this. I walked the field. It was about a 97-yard field.
Oh, really? It wasn't up to spec, huh?
Pretty close. Pretty close.
I'm guessing that would be all ironed out. Should this take place now, it'll be 100 yards.
Yeah, well, and it was just weird having a crowd there that really did not understand football. So I remember I did actually get the game-ending interception, and nobody really cheered. I mean, I could hear our sidelines, everybody going nuts, but like people didn't really know when at the time. But then I went later. I went with Denver, and I went with the Seahawks as well, and. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I remember when the big guys would get off the bus, the Japanese fans would cheer, like, based on how big they were.
Louder, the bigger you are, the louder the cheer.
Yeah, but I mean, it's much more sophisticated crowd now. Everybody understands. I don't think Roger Goodell's going to stop until we get a game at the North Pole. I mean, he
pretty much all that's left.
He wants to conquer the world, so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Coming up, it's always an entertaining conversation. We get the chance to sit down with Angie Mentink. She's going to join us on the show right here in the booth. Coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, home of Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
What are the priorities in the second half? Number one for me, you got to clean it up. Start playing cleaner baseball.
Include Naylor in that. I'm going to have a lot more emphasis on him because he was a major straw that stirred the drink in their run in August and September last year.
That's fine. You can focus on Naylor all you want. I'll still be focused on, Cal, the guy who hit 60 home runs and had the greatest season ever for a catcher last year.
Watch live or later on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel.
Fast Home Services is a 5-tool player, one call for it all: water heaters, plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical. It's Dave Wyman here, and the same Seattle company that's handled your hot water since 1986 is now handling everything that keeps the house running. One number, one team, home field advantage for your actual home. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST to book your free in-home estimate, or visit fasthomeservices.com for a virtual quote in seconds across water heaters, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical services.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and summer's here at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can check out upcoming shows like the Pop 2000 Tour with Chris Kirkpatrick of NSYNC, O-Town, Ryan Cabrera, and LFO on August 1st, or relive the 80s with pop sensation Taylor Dayne on September 6th. You can find tickets at snocasino.com and the full lineup, plus experience luxury with breathtaking Cascade views, world-class dining, and play your favorite games. Elevate your next getaway. That's Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Long days call for lots of golf. Hey, it's Graz here, encouraging you to book a tee time between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. at your local premier course, like Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inner Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Padden, Legion Memorial, Linwood, and Walter Hall. In Western Washington, you're never far from a premier course. It accommodates all skill levels, and with affordable rates, you can book a tee time and truly enjoy the summer. If you're not in the mood for walking, play Top Tracer at the range at Inner Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park. Play the courses. Play Premier.
If it's blocking your view, keeping your yard dark or shaded, or impossible to mow around, get rid of that tree or stump this summer with P&D Tree Service. They'll do it safely and quickly, cleaning up your yard in the process. P&D Tree turns multi-day jobs into a few hours, saving you time and money. One tree or land clearing, they have the tools and expertise for the job. They specialize in large tree removal. Ever seen a tree removed by crane? PNDTreeservice.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers Drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Did you know that 4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state? I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide financial support for breast and gynecologic cancer patients in our community. Join us at Life in Color, a summer brunch, auction, and fashion show on August 23rd at the Somme Hotel in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon of inspiration. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 23rd at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
The countdown is on.
Just 8 days
until Seahawks training camp on the home of the Super Bowl champion Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. The stem cell therapy you did on my knee was a game changer. But Dr. Dan, people ask me all the time if you're seeing the same kind of success treating neck and back pain with stem cell therapy.
Great question, Brock. As you know from your experience, we've had tremendous success treating major joints like hips, knees, and shoulders, but we've also seen excellent results treating neck and lower back pain. In fact, we're the only clinic in the Seattle area offering image-guided stem cell and PRP injection therapy specifically for neck and low back pain.
How cool is that? If joint, neck, or back pain is holding you back, call Dr. Daniel Nelson at Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine and find out if stem cell therapy may be right for you. Dr. Dan here is the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. Call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's 425-823-4000 or danielnelsonmd.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710. And joining us here in the booth is one of our favorites, Dave. We always talk about this woman and how much we love talking to her. It's so much fun. It's much more fun off the air, I got to admit.
Yeah.
Some of the conversations that she and I have had in the media lunchroom.
Yeah, you would have to.
We solve a lot of world's problems.
We
do.
Yeah,
but you'd also have to man the dump button.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's not enough delay.
Filter. Yeah, there's not enough of a delay.
Talking about Angie Mentink, who's here with us in the booth. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I'm rested. I'm ready to go for the second half.
Yeah, Dave was asking. I was off last week, and he was asking me, did it help you? And I was like, you know what? I think it did. I got rid of some of my Mariner rage, some of the disappointment I felt on that road trip. Yeah, I came in much more optimistic, and then saw Julio wasn't in the lineup today, so that was a little ding to it. But did it change your frame of mind at all as you look at the season and go, all right, yeah, there was a lot that didn't go right, but they're still right there.
I don't know. I was visiting
there.
the kids down at college, and I did like 16 loads of laundry, and so I don't know how much I was able to really clear my head, except like raging. Is like, what happened to you? Like, didn't I raise you guys better? Like, why would you have 16 loads of laundry? That's probably why they had 16 loads of laundry waiting for me. Mom's coming.
They knew Mom was going to be there.
Exactly. And I don't even know if you guys will know what this is, but maybe some of your listeners will know what this means. The bathroom cleaning required a pumice stone. So it was just
I don't
really
know what
bad.
that is.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it sounds heavy duty.
It's heavy.
It's like a rock, basically, that you scrub things with.
You scrub things with.
With a rock.
With a rock.
That's the level of grime that was on.
that the shower and the toilet required.
Oh, no.
Yes, it was good. But back to baseball.
Well, they're
the baseball
normal.
ends of it.
Okay, they're normal. We're talking about, how old are your kids? They're your boys.
18 and 20. So basically 19 and 21. Yeah,
That's about right. Yeah.
They're gross.
It's-
They're just
of course they are.
gross. I just.
They're gross.
And I have to one of them's got a girlfriend down there, so I've got some questions for her. I just.
Does she ever come over there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Were you here? There was literally a pot full of half-eaten macaroni and cheese that has been there at least a week and a half. What are we doing?
Do you let her use this bathroom?
It's
not
just
good.
There's a lot of that. But yes, I am my head through all the laundry and the folding and the pumice stone. It got a chance to clear out and ask me after tonight's game because sometimes it's just like if it doesn't go well tonight, it's like I'm back to where I was.
Being pessimistic.
No, they're a good team, and I know. Talking to Dan, and I would agree with him. Everything they want to do, everything they want to accomplish is still right there in front of them. Mm-hmm. And so it could be much different,
What's the first thing you look at, whether it's like health or, maybe Cal or Julio, those guys get going, we're just talking about if Brash gets healthy which doesn't sound like that's going to be anytime too soon.
Yeah.
But Brendan Donovan, somewhat encouraging. I mean, I feel like those two things could maybe be something that kind of sparks him a little bit.
Yeah, Cal is like the Mariners' Kevin Bacon, except it's like 1 degree of separation. Everything is separated by 1 degree of Cal.
I thought you were talking about his dance skills.
No, Kevin Bacon dancing? Oh, flash dance? Okay. Footloose. Sorry, flash dance.
Yeah. That would be awkward.
It just get awkward.
I don't even want to visualize that.
This wasn't that much better. Come on.
I was rolling with you on that one. I was like, yeah, flash dance.
Dave's picturing buckets of water being dumped on him.
Did you like my reenactment?
Yeah, that was good. She's bending over the back of the chair there.
I can pour my Diet Coke over your head if you want.
Sparkling water here. No, so I think it's really important because he touches so many different things. Cal / Kevin Bacon of the Mariners, between the pitching staff, the clubhouse, everything. So I'm going to continue to not try to heap too much pressure on him, but I just don't think you can overstate the importance of him in this team, in this organization, and then in the middle of the lineup. But there was some encouraging news. I'm not quite encouraged yet on Brendan Donovan. It's just I'm like, how much is this? And I've talked to Mike Cameron about the injury, and I never had a C-section, but this is to me sort of the male version of that. Where all of a sudden you get everything sliced open, you got to put it back together, and how does it come back together? It never really feels, completely right. So this is the new normal. Get used to it. Wear the high-waisted pants. I don't know, but I'd like to see him have a few games and put a few together. And once he's healthy, I think that's really important because you look at the impact he had when he was at the top of this lineup, and it made things go. He made things go. So I think, he can become very important again. But yeah, I think, when you think about, are the Mariners going to do something at trade deadline? And what do they need to do is go get, high leverage arms. Well, man, if you went and got a Brash, a Bizzardo, if you went and got those caliber of arms, you'd be like, heck yeah, we're going to be awesome. It's that super pen that we've been talking about. So, there's some things to definitely be optimistic about. I just don't like hearing mid-August, because then it's what are they like at mid-August? Are they where they need to be by, beginning of September sort of thing?
How do they what's the right approach with this rotation? I told Dave that I feel like they're waiting for either Castillo or Hancock to go out there and get lit up. so that they can say, all right, we're going to 5-man. This is a guy going to the bullpen, because you're an arm short in a bullpen that's already missing a leverage arm in Brash, who we just talked about, and you're down an arm just based on having 6 starters.
Yeah.
And we've seen it come back to bite him a couple of times, where all of a sudden Rucker's in a leverage situation, and we're like, what is going on here? So I thought there'd be some sort of decision made during the All-Star break, and now they're rolling out the 6-man at least to start it. So it feels like they're just kind of playing it by ear, and like there's no definitive plan. What do you think realistically they should do?
This is tough, and obviously these are the same internal conversations that they're trying to have, and they've said things like you never know what's around the bend. Like, are we going to have 5 starters? Are we going to go get an extra leverage arm? You don't know what that is, and if a team is reaching out to you about a certain pitcher, the last thing you want to do is limit them to being a bullpen guy.
Right.
Because obviously, if they wanted him in the bullpen, one of your starters in the bullpen, they could do that.
Right. It might solve your problem of being an arm short, obviously, and a leverage guy. But, yeah, you're right, in terms of showcasing somebody up. What, maybe till the trade deadline we go with this 6-man piggyback combo?
Perhaps, because what is it? When you have a really important decision to make, wait. And oftentimes the decision makes itself. And so, it'll be interesting to see if all 6 of those starters are here, after the trade deadline. Again, I have no knowledge or anything like that. I don't want to pretend. But you would certainly, if they weren't, you would get probably one of those leverage arms, or, we can all speculate on what they need, a right-handed bat. Those are things, obviously, this team seems, to be missing. But yeah, I think that sending one to the bullpen, and I've asked Hollander a couple weeks ago, like, hey, what about Emerson Hancock? He, as far as his innings and where he was last year, and he's obviously pitching more at the major league level, but he had minor league innings, and when you combine those two from where he is last year, are you worried at all? And at some point, is it good that he goes to the bullpen because of innings? And they were like, we are not worried. He is not limited in any way as far as his innings and the jump that he would make this year. They were not concerned whatsoever. So it's not like, oh, we need to put him in the bullpen is another question answered, I guess, if you will. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I think you guys are right. There's been some situations where guys, no fault of their own, they're not used to being in those situations. They're not used to being in those high leverage situations. And while in some ways it's good for them, you want a guy that has had sort of
the track record,
promotion. You start here and you get here. Pete Woodworth always talks about it. You start in the cubicle, and all of a sudden you get a window. And then all of a sudden you get your own office. And it's just, promotion. These guys haven't had the promotion. You're asking them to, all of a sudden be in the corner office, and they're not ready for it.
What would you say about Dan? A lot of people have texted in and just have kind of frustrated with him. But one of the things that I was saying is, I think a lot of people think he's too nice, or maybe he needs to light him up or scream and yell. But that's just not him, right? I mean, you have to be authentic. If you had, this... quiet. I mean, I had a guy named Paul Wiggin who passed recently, but he was just the nicest guy in the world. If he would have got up and started screaming and yelling at people, I would have thought, this is odd. This is weird.
Right?
Right? I mean, you got to be authentic, right? And so, I mean, I as far as his leadership.
I would ask you this, because I think a lot of us, you're younger, but you and I.
Yeah.
Okay. We came from a different generation, and we're used to people getting up in our face and spitting in it.
Yeah.
But did you raise your kids the same way that your parents raised you? Did you bring out the belt like your dad brought out the belt? You? I mean.
My mom could never restrain herself to wait until my dad got home.
She couldn't wait to smack you.
Yeah. She sounds a lot like my mom. Wooden spoon, a spatula. I don't know how many of those she broke over our backsides. But I would say that, I've raised my kids differently than my parents raised me. And I think this generation was coached differently than we were coached as well. And so I don't think you have a lot of those Lou Pinella's screamers. I think that, the bottom line is nowadays they have found out that, through, sports psychology and everything else, like this is a better way to get more out of people.
Right.
I think that it's very important that you have to have accountability as a coach. I don't think you can let things slide. So I think those are important, whether you do that, with a booming voice or very quietly. I mean, I would say, Don James wasn't a screamer.
No.
But he certainly held people accountable, and he was structured and he was disciplined. And so I think there's different ways to do things. But yeah, I think that Dan needs to make sure that things that if things get sloppy, that it gets cleaned up, because I don't think you can let those things slide.
But it seems like it's harder to discipline Randy, for instance, because he's your best offensive player to this point of the season. You're only all-star. He's your guy at the plate. But he's had some gaffes out there on the base paths
I'm not saying
in
you
left
have
field.
to bench him. I'm saying, though, you have to hold him accountable and let him know that you expect more from him.
But how do you I mean, maybe Dan has to this point and it's not taking. I don't know. Like his defense and his base running get me as a fan a little bunched up.
Yeah, no, I'm an outfield snob as well. And I really, when things don't happen out there, I always have, I say this often, the infield will hurt you, the outfield will kill you. If it gets by your shortstop, the guy's standing on first. If it gets by your outfilders, everybody's
scoring.
touching them.
Yeah.
They're touching them and they're scoring. So I think outfield play is really big. But again, I think you have to hold them accountable. Like, listen, I need you to make that play. I need this to happen. Versus, all right, I'm going to sit you and bench you. Because, I mean, I always say sometimes when I only get like 2 hits in the pregame show or something, I'm like, they pay me the same. Like, I mean, they pay Randy the same, whether he's sitting there for you or whether he's out there making an impact. So you have to find a way as a coach, like what would Wooden do? WD. I mean, you've got to find a way to tap into that player. And that is a manager's job. That is a coach's job to do, is
find the right button to push.
Find the right button to push. And I don't think it's necessarily always, like flipping over the spread. I mean, they're just going to get DoorDash. I mean, it's like this generation. I don't understand it. You just paid $30 for a Popeye's chicken sandwich. What is wrong with you? Just don't understand it.
They'll just get DoorDash.
Okay, so flipping over the spread for the younger listeners out there.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, Lou Pinella would come in because the spread is there. Like the meal, your post-game meal is there. And, Lou would come in and flip the whole table over. Right. And you're like, you're not going to eat, And they're like, again, kids nowadays, these athletes are like, all right, I got to go. I'm bouncing. I gotta get back to my hotel room and I'm gonna order on the app. And by the time I get back to my room, I'm going to have my meal of choice,
Yeah.
Showing up at my room.
Hey, in the AL West, when you look, do you still worry about the Astros getting good, or do you think, because I just don't see anybody that really is that much of a threat, as long as these guys do all the things we want them to do, right? But as far as the AL West, who's the one team other than, who's the one team in the AL West that you sort of are worried about?
Well, Texas and Houston. And I think that I'm trying not to make this upcoming series bigger than it is. But now that you have the balanced schedule, it's a really big series. Yeah. It's a huge series because you don't have, 2,700 games against the division to make this up. You've really got to focus on this upcoming series against the Texas Rangers. And right now, sadly, as we open up the second half, that's the team you're chasing too. So, but I think that this team certainly is capable of, we saw this, late in the season after the All-Star break where they rattled off, 8 in a row. And that's what this team needs. They just need to find a way You know, and there's always a couple games in there. But it just seems like those one-run games, those close games, and that's what you're talking about, is those little things that happen in the game all of a sudden become so glaring because their margin for error is so tiny. You know, when you're playing these one-run, two-run games, you can't have that one little play, that one little gaffe happen because it's the difference.
What do you think it is, and I'd say this to Dave every time we face a team, we see them face a team that we feel like they should beat. This is one of those teams. The Giants are an objectively poor team this year. They're not good. This is a team you should win the series. Yet this year, every time we get into a string of those games, I'm telling Dave, like, man, I'm nervous because they just, for whatever reason, they're 1-5 against the Royals.
Yeah.
They're just, these teams have sort of had their way with them. So there's a little trepidation in a series like this for me. Even Cincinnati, they're a losing team now. They're coming in on the heels of this one. And I've said the same thing today. You got to win these series before that series with the Rangers because that's huge.
Yeah, and I saw it came out today that the Mariners are tied for 5th in regards to the weakest schedule from here on out. Like the competition has got like a 489 or something like that winning percentage. I'm like, shut up!
That's not comforting.
No, that doesn't make me feel better. It makes me feel worse, you know, because you can't help it. Sometimes you play to the level of your competition.
But you put that on Dan and the coaching staff to make sure that the intensity is there, that's there versus the other teams, or how do you explain why they've struggled against teams that are seemingly weaker than they are?
Yeah, I mean, at this level, and I'm not saying that, you know, the front office doesn't have responsibilities. I'm not saying that Dan doesn't. I'm not saying Seitzer doesn't. You know, and by the way, you guys know this because you're here behind the scenes. I mean, nobody's working harder than Bobby and Seitzer and trying to push the right buttons to get a guy going. And you know, hitting is such a weird thing where. And I have it sometimes, you know, with my kiddos, like, and I'm talking about this, and you know, I was hitting with him down in Sacramento, and I like took his bat away, and I'm like trying to take the tension out of his arms before I put the bat back in, and I was like, I want you to engage your core, and I want your arms loose, and you're waiting for that one thing that's sort of like the aha, and you see something click, and things fall into place. I mean, for last year with Cal, it was the high T drill. And, you know, it just made a lot of things fall into place for him. And I know that these guys are working so hard right now to find that one thing that's, you know, going to have Julio catch the ball out in front more, that is going to make, you know, Cal stop chasing that pitch above the zone, that fastball. So, I mean, I think that the bottom line, to answer your question in that roundabout way, at this level, it's on them. I mean, it really is on the players to play and beat the team. I mean, they're getting paid. They got fancy cars too. Yeah. You know, and so you just got to show up and you know, it's that saying from a couple years ago. The Mariners said, "Doesn't matter, get better." I don't care, beat them. That's my mindset. Is I don't care how you do it. You know. Beat them. Do your job, pass the baton to the next guy, trust that he's going to do his job, pass the baton to the next guy, and when the ball's hit, you better do your job. So
the two young guys in the middle of the defense, we just love. We've had great experiences. Looks like Cole Young is just a all baseball guy. Like if you unscrewed the top of his head, there'd be a baseball diamond with guys running around. But then Colt Emerson seems like he's very thoughtful, but
very analytical about it.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
He said some amazing things to us in every interview we had with him. Yeah. And where I'm like, this guy's not 20 years old.
I say that all the time. I was like, I want to see your ID. Yeah. I don't believe.
You card him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Card him. I'm like, you're really 34. So you're probably wearing underwear with boxers with holes in them.
You were scarred by the visit with your kids. Just put that on everybody now.
On everybody. No, but he's so old, and I love that about Colt Emerson. And that was, you can understand why the Mariners, wanted to sign him and wanted to have him part of this organization long term, because he just, they talk about, oh, you love baseball, but do you love practicing? Do you like the preparation? And yes, he does. He just eats it. You know, he lives this game, and it is very exciting that's going to be your middle infield for many years to come. So two very different kids, Cole and Colt, but both kids. And like I said, having a 21-year-old, I'm just like, these are not the same things. You know, my kids knuckle dragging and just.
I hope they're not listening. This has not been flattering.
Hey, listen, you know what? Anybody who knows my kid, he's the greatest kid. He is he's sunshine. He's going through life with jazz hands. Like, he's just the coolest dude. But yeah, he's a pig. Actually, his coach told me that. He said, he said something about my son. He's like, well, he's not allowed to stand next to me. I'm like, my head snapped around. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you have to know your son stinks. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and I asked Cal, I was like, is there anything you do with your gear? Because he's a catcher.
Yeah.
You know, it's 104 degrees in Sacramento. Yeah, he's going to stink. He's
covered in gear.
He's like the big uglies. I mean, he's the baseball version of that. I mean, he's just, he's sweating and he's covered in dirt. And then, there's like all grass or all turf, and then they just have one little dirt circle that your kid plays in for 3 hours. So, yeah.
She talks about her kids the way I talk about mine. Well, specifically my daughter.
Yeah. I was going to say one of your kids. Hey, real quick, just with Cal, and you mentioned it, he seems like obviously the season has not gone even close to the way he had hoped or anybody expected, but he does seem to be expanding that zone quite a bit and chasing that high fastball and then kind of waving at the off speed, low and away stuff. Like, it's just chasing stuff he didn't normally. How easy is that to fix? I mean, he's seeing it. He's going back watching the video. So what do you think is the trigger? You talked about the high tee last year. What do you think it is this year?
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple things that I would say to myself when it's a different person. I never hit, 5 home runs in a year, let alone 30, let alone 60. But I would have to, like, where I set my hands, I would tell myself, I'm not going up from there. I'm not swinging anything above my hand. So, I wonder, maybe he gets something where he lowers his hands a little bit, and so he knows, like, this is the top of my zone. Yeah. This is the top of my zone. I'm not going to. But what I think is happening, and I don't know, and like I said, I hesitate to talk too much about hitting, with these guys, because trust me, they're coming at it every which way and sideways to try to figure things out. And, this idea that I'm going to come up and tell them, hey, I was looking at this and I think you should try this. Like, cool, get lost. But I think that last year, I mean, he just destroyed fastballs. He destroyed fastballs. And so this year, they're just spinning the crap out of him. They're just throwing soft away, whichever side of the plate that he is on. Because if you throw him soft coming into him at all,
it's in that loop zone.
It's just in that loop zone. He's crushing it. So I think that he's in this mindset that, like, when he sees the fastball, he's like, I'm jumping on it. And he's chasing it.
Yeah.
But I think he's just so excited when he reads fastball out of hand that he gets into swing mode. And sometimes... he's chasing bad ones.
Angie, we look forward to more conversations about your children and their shortcomings, but otherwise, this is always great to talk to you. We appreciate you coming up.
I adore you guys.
Thanks, Angie.
This is so fun for me. Thank you.
Good. There she is. Angie Mentink does a great job on the broadcast. Love talking baseball with her. If you guys missed any part of that, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, we got a lot of injury updates earlier today. We're going to dive into those coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mariners are back from the All-Star break.
Every game from here on out should have a little bit more urgency.
Especially in the American League. One good stretch, and you're back in this thing.
Tonight, it's the Mariners and Giants at T-Mobile Park as the sprint to defend the AL West pennant begins.
I look at the roster and I say, this is enough if these guys go out there and play the way they're supposed to.
7:10 first pitch, pregame at 6 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Michael is in his 70s, and he was dealing with an injury.
I had tears in my rotator cuff. Just the discomfort of going about everyday life. Day-to-day things were not comfortable or almost impossible, but just being inactive was troubling.
He was in a great deal of pain.
I started trying to learn how to brush my teeth with my left hand, and you can't do it. It was ridiculous.
Searching for answers, Michael found Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, where he underwent stem cell therapy.
I played basketball on Monday Wednesday, and Friday. And so I'm getting my shot back. It's not back to where it was, but hey, before I couldn't even do anything. So 100% improvement of what it was.
Wow, that's great to hear. Would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I can share without a doubt that it helped me, and I'm grateful for that.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Do you have a wood deck that could use a little TLC this season? Start by giving it a good cleaning to remove dirt, pollen, or any mold or mildew. Then, if you're left with gray wood and decide you want to restain, use a wood brightener product first. Finally, when you're ready to bring life and color back into your deck, choose Penifin Ultra Premium Red Label Wood Stain. Its highly penetrating Brazilian rosewood oil formula provides superior protection for your wood deck. Penifin Red Label Wood Stain, on sale now at Dunn Lumber.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community. Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community. Not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
At Seattle Children's Hospital, 1 in 3 patient families can't afford the food their kids need to heal. A child recovering from surgery and the family struggling to put nutritious food on the table. That's why Seattle Children's, Safeway, and Seahawk Jackson Smith and Jigba launched the Food First Project to fight pediatric food insecurity by providing grocery cards, produce vouchers, and food as medicine programs for families. No barriers, just help. 12s, we need you. Learn more at Safeway.com. Again, that's Safeway.com.
America's favorite car show returns to Puyallup. Cruise on out for the good guys' 38th Griot's Garage Pacific Northwest National. 3 huge days with over 3,000 classics from across the country. Check out the indoor car show and special areas. Fender Midway Automotive Swap Meet, live music, Saturday night twilight cruising, and more. July 24th through the 26th at the Washington State Fair Event Center. Details at good-guys.com. Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners get back to it. Second half of the season starts tonight here at T-Mobile Park as the Mariners welcome in the San Francisco Giants. Game 1 of a 3-game series coming your way tonight, which you'll catch right here. Seattle Sports on 710 beginning at 6 o'clock with the pregame show. 7:10 first pitch. They send Bryce Miller to the hill in this game. He goes up against Landon Roop. Meanwhile, other games going on. The Red Sox have now won 10 in a row as they just hammer the Rays today, 10-0. The final in that game. Meanwhile, games going on right now. No score between the Dodgers and Yankees headed to the top of the 4th. White Sox out to a 5-0 lead over the Blue Jays. That one in the bottom of the 3rd. Good news here. Top of the 3rd in Atlanta. Braves out to a 2-0 lead over the Texas Rangers. Red Sox in the second half of the doubleheader right now up 3-2 on the Rays. That one headed to the top of the 3rd. No score between the Marlins and Brewers in the top of the 2nd. Twins and Cubs, Orioles and Astros, and Padres and Royals about to get going.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Fast Home Services.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Our thanks once again to Angie Mentink, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys just tuned in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab, click on our picture. It'll be right there waiting for you. And don't forget to click subscribe. It's totally free, and it shows up for you every single day. Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. We got mean text coming up at 5:45 today, so get those going. Have we collected any so far, Lefko? Any good submissions?
I mean, we've collected them. I don't know if any are good, but, you know.
There's
things
some
that
we'll
come
read.
In, yeah, they're not good yet. I think people are waking up now. So our listeners,
it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, they're rousing themselves to sleep. They're, when you try to start a fire, you rub 2 twigs together.
Yeah.
They're rubbing the 2 brain cells together, trying to hope something catches and some kind of spark ignites.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. All right, there we go. There's a little inspiration for mean text. 866-979-3776. Meanwhile, a couple of updates. Justin Hollander speaking with the media earlier today. First of all, we've been talking about the fact that Julio is not in the lineup tonight. We've seen him out there taking some cuts in the cage and doing some running drills in the outfield. He's currently over there talking to some of the Giants players. So he looks like he's feeling okay, but they wanted to see him go through a full pregame routine today and make sure he's okay afterwards. I guess is the reason he's not in tonight's lineup.
Boy, you have really good eyes.
That's right.
Yeah, I can't see Julio out there. Is
Yeah.
that him in the white shirt?
No, he's over there, third baseline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was-
I just saw him wearing sunglasses, and I heard he was wearing sunglasses inside the clubhouse. So taking every precaution to get him off of the protocol for concussion, I guess. But yeah, it's good to see him up and around, but it would be much nicer to see him in the lineup.
Yeah, I'm assuming we'll see it, unless something didn't go right today, unless he comes out of it, I got a headache, I'm dizzy, I'm sore, whatever is going on. I would assume he would be in the lineup tomorrow, but we'll see about that. So it seems like it's hopeful, but this is their first opportunity to get him through a full pregame workout and see how he responds. So the other bit of news, we talked about this briefly, Brendan Donovan starts his rehab assignment tonight in Tacoma. He's going to DH. He has not played in the field. He was down there in the Arizona League and DH there, 0 for 3 Ks, but came out of it presumably okay physically, so that was good news to see. And see, there's Julio jogging across the batter's eye right there, or batter's right in front of the cage is what I'm trying to say in English. So, yeah, looks like he's moving fine. So hopefully we'll see him in the lineup tomorrow. Rob Refsnyder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I knew you'd want to hear about him.
I know you wanted to get to this one. He's your favorite, right?
He's going to be in Tacoma tonight as well, starting his rehab assignment. All of a sudden, Dave's feeding back. I'm not sure what's going on here. Might want to turn the volume down. I don't know what happened. Dave just looked up startled. I was getting feedback in his headsets there.
What did you do, Shannon?
We're all of us are just staring at Dave. Yeah. Can you?
I'll just talk into the microphone here. Do I sound okay?
No.
Okay.
No, you sound like you're across the room. I'm not sure what happened there. Lefko's going to take a look at it. All right, we'll continue with the update. So Rob Refsnyder starts a rehab assignment in Tacoma tomorrow. Brendan Donovan tonight. So those are a couple of and then hoping Carlos Vargas. That is not a name we've mentioned in a long time, Carlos Vargas. They're hoping he throws a bullpen tomorrow. Could be back by mid-August. So that's somebody that we just haven't even really discussed. We've talked about the need in the bullpen. We've talked about them being an arm short with a 6-man rotation. We've certainly talked about Brash being out, but Vargas is a guy he's got a great arm. He's got good stuff. It's just a matter of his command and things like that. But somebody, frankly, we kind of forgot about.
Yeah, well, and he was huge last year in a couple of different situations. But, yeah, I mean, of all, I didn't get a chance to weigh in on Brendan Donovan. To me, that's the most encouraging thing, because, you know, you saw the numbers down there and really didn't care about the numbers because you figure, well, he's probably going out there and just trying to take it easy. He's not going to, you know, he's going to go slow. And but how is he going to respond to it? And then, look, it wasn't like he didn't get on base, did he? Or did he get a walk maybe?
I don't believe he was on base. He was 0 for 3 with 3 Ks.
So, yeah, I don't. To me, all I care about is, because we know that he can hit big league pitching, so we don't. If he doesn't get a hit in the ACL, and don't, you know, I mean, I figure he's just working on things. But, you know, the big news coming out of Arizona there was the fact that he's okay.
Yeah,
and
he's throwing him in there in AAA.
Yeah. And that's tonight, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tonight for him, tomorrow for Refsnyder. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do with the roster when Donovan's healthy and Refsnyder's healthy, and you know, you can.
You have a little smirk there when you said Refsnyder's.
Well, you're going to have to make a decision somewhere, but and then we'll see what they do at the trade deadline as well. If they do acquire somebody to help the lineup in some way, a right-handed bat, or if they're just looking at, you know, what they've got as being those coming to the rescue. You've got, you know, and again, Vargas is an option I hadn't even thought about this whole time. So when we're talking about the need for help with the bullpen come trade deadline, presumably now, again, you know, you've got Matt Brash, who's hoping for a late August return, is what they've said, which isn't awesome.
No, it's not. Yeah.
So I don't know how much you can't have your plan based on his return, right? Yeah, we've got issues in the bullpen we've got to address, but we've got Brash coming back. You know, you can't. There is no extra part of that conversation. That's a separate conversation. He's bonus. He's gravy on top if he comes back healthy. But you've got to make your moves accordingly, assuming he's going to be gone.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and we talk about things that would, sort of eliminate the need to trade away prospects at the trade deadline. You know, one is obviously Cal, Julio getting right.
Naylor.
And Naylor a little bit as well. And then, you know, also, just Brendan Donovan being healthy. But that's the one thing I would not count on is Brash. That's one where it just seems like he's going to be a guy that gets injured.
Yeah, when you hear, especially term that way, hoping for a late August return.
Right. Because, you know, I think it's reasonable to think that Cal is going to turn things around. I'm a little worried about Brendan Donovan as well, but I'm so encouraged by the fact that he's in Tacoma tonight that, you know, maybe that eliminates that worry. But, yeah, as far as, counting on having Matt Brash, like you said, late August, we don't really know. I mean, I could see that all of a sudden turning into September. So that's something I don't not super excited about, and not something that I think that, you know, they need to ignore, that they should ignore. So I think, you know, getting some help in the bullpen for sure is going to be necessary at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you, you know, if that holds true, he comes back late August, you basically get a month of him, a month's worth of games, which look, that could be the difference.
Could be, yeah, could be huge.
This could be a nip and tuck battle all the way to the end of the season, where they're up by a game, they're down by a game, they're up by 2, they're down by 2, whatever. So not diminishing what his return would mean, but there's a lot of ground to cover between now and the time he does come back in that bullpen, where you're not finding yourself in leverage situations where Rucker is your guy because of using those leverage guys early and not having Brash and you're down in the arm because you got a 6-man rotation. So there's a lot of time between those two things, and they've got to address that, whether it's through the trade deadline or what they're going to do with the 6-man after the trade deadline. Is that part of the motivation for going 6-man is, hey, these guys are going to be more appealing as starters than, hey, we got this guy available, he's in our bullpen. Maybe that it's not quite as appealing. I don't know. I think it's valid to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think it's funny that, we were talking about Rucker and, having to use that guy, and that's, because of the whole depth thing. I feel like everybody in Major League Baseball has a Rucker, but the Mariners haven't really. They've always, not consistently, but like for the most part, we really haven't worried about depth in the bullpen. I mean, it's always been pretty good. They've always been able to figure it out. And I feel like it's like we always talk about when we compared, offensive linemen. We had one guy that was a question mark last year, really, out of the 5 offensive linemen. And, a lot of same thing with the rotation. But I feel like also just the bullpen, it's kind of, I don't know. I think a lot of people struggle with, we're down an arm and we have to put a guy like Rucker out there, and he's just, I feel like everybody has that guy, and the Mariners really haven't. So that's the thing that I guess we're a little bit spoiled, because whenever you think, oh yeah, you have to use that guy, we're running out of arms in the bullpen. I think that happens to a lot of teams.
Yeah, it does. But I think what hurts the Mariners is that the offense has been so inconsistent, and it has not been able to back up some of what you've seen from your starting rotation, certainly, and it doesn't provide much slack for the bullpen when you do have to go to an arm that's not a leverage guy. Other teams might have a little bit more slack because the offense is putting up runs. I mean, what did the Mariners? Was it 13 games in a row of 3 runs or less? They tied a franchise as 13. Yeah, 13 in a row, 3 runs or less. I mean, if you're a starter or a reliever, you're feeling like, I can't make a mistake. There's no cushion here. It's just not who, and that's kind of been who this offense is. So it puts just that much more pressure on the starter to go deep, limit the damage. Then when the reliever comes in, you can't allow for a mistake, whether it's a leverage guy or it's not a leverage guy. So the offense has that trickle-down effect, and they've got to get it. They've got to find a way to get it going, and obviously it starts with your stars. It starts with Cal. It starts with Julio when he's able to go, and hopefully that's tomorrow. But Naylor and Randy keeping it going, all the way down the line. Hopefully Cole Young. I'm excited to see what he does in this second half. He's been one of the few offensive bright spots this year for me. I love watching I love him in the field too. I mean, he's just been such a tremendous surprise, because I didn't know what to expect from him coming into the season based on last year. Certainly at the plate, we saw him have kind of a brief moment of success, and then the league got to him, and he just looked overmatched, and he wasn't even playing come postseason. So to see how he flipped that and what he's become this year has been huge for this team.
Yeah, we were watching him take batting practice earlier, and he's just such a nice, easy swing, and the power. It's hard to see when you look at him, but man, he was cranking a couple out of the ballpark. So yeah, it's nice to see him, and that's one guy I don't ever worry about. Is the pressure getting to him or what? It just seems like he's just all about baseball, and don't really worry about him, going through some psychological problems or whatever. I mean, I feel like that guy is just such a solid baseball player. Like I always say, I think if you unscrew the top of his head, there'd be baseball stats and guys running around a baseball diamond.
That's kind of it.
Second base.
Yeah, I feel like he's just a guy with tunnel vision. I don't think there's a lot of traffic up there. I think it's just one road, and it's all about baseball. And
not saying he's simple or anything like that.
I think it's simple. I think his approach is simple, though.
Very
it feels
straightforward.
It feels like he's just, when you talk to him, he's not verbose. He doesn't have a ton to say, but when you ask him, hey, what was your approach in that at bat, he'll be like, I just want to put the ball in play.
Yeah.
I was just trying to put the ball in play. He's not really breaking it.
Simplified.
He's not as analytical as Colt Emerson is, or somebody else you may talk to. He's just like, I'm just trying to hit the ball, man. And trying to, good things will happen, and trying to, just pass the baton.
Yeah.
Just keeps it very simple.
Right. And that's the thing I like about Colt Emerson, the fact that he is very sort of seemingly complex, the way he thinks about things. And I think we've heard a lot out of Cal about that as well. Some of the thoughts that he had when he's, being interviewed expertly by Shannon Dreyer for the Cal Raleigh show. About giving guys advice and, don't be too pitcherish. And he's just one of those guys that you never really worry about. But I am kind of worried about him right now, just because I think he's so important. And I think as much as, I love Julio too, and I would love to see Julio get right and be healthy and everything like that. But and Brendan Donovan, so, just blown away by the interview that we had with him and just what a great teammate he is. And like I said, I think that's one thing they're missing, that they don't have that guy around. And I think him in the clubhouse, and I know he was only here through spring and the first 25 games and everything, but I think he means a lot. But the one guy that I just think most people, and you can text it in, 866-979-3776, of all these things we're talking about, whether it's Brendan Donovan being healthy or Julio getting healthy, Naylor playing a little bit better, it's Cal. I think it's Cal. That's the one thing that would make me feel the best, is that he gets on a trajectory or back on a path to get back towards, somewhere to where he was hitting last year.
Yeah, he's just got to become that threat again. He's got to start producing to a point where they can attack him with a four-seam fastball up in the zone and know he's going to chase it. And I feel like that's where they're at right now. I feel like the opposing pitcher knows the holes and he's getting exposed in those moments. Just shrink that zone. He's just expanded the zone so much. So hopefully just starting to see progress there. And we'll see what happens in this series. I mean, again, these are pros, and what did Angie say? They drive nice, fancy cars too, whatever. But these are teams you should beat. I mean, the Giants are 41-55. This is just not a good team. They are not a good road team. They are 19-30 on the road. This is a team you beat. You're a contender. This is the Mariners. You look at their lineup, you look at their roster, you look at their rotation. They are a better team. They've got more talent to work with. You beat the Giants. You take 2 of 3, hopefully 3. And I'd say the same is true for the Reds. Now, the Reds were in it for a little while longer. Now they've faded. They're in last place in the Central. But for a good part of this first half, that entire division was above 500. Yeah. And that included the Reds. Now they're 43-52. Lost 2 in a row to end the first half, dropped 6 of their last 10. These are 2 teams before that Rangers series, which could be crucial coming up on the heels of that on the road. These are 2 series where you want to gain as much ground as you can, right? I mean, this is, I don't know. I don't want to overstate the importance of it. It doesn't dictate the outcome of the season, but these might be 2 series we look at the end of the season and go, that was crucial. They did what they were supposed to, or that killed them because they lost the series to teams they should have beaten.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I just don't think that's a thing, that there's any kind of letdown or whatever. To me, it's just all about the Mariners. Because, I was just looking at the Giants, some of their offensive numbers as far as where they rank in the league. And as far as batting average goes, they're 4th, 256. I mean, I know that they're not playing well right now. They're top 5 in slug. I mean, so this is a team that can hurt you, but they're not playing well. But neither are the Mariners. So, I mean, it's just all about them. I don't think it's anything to do, or at least not right now, with their opponents. That it's just a matter of they all have to come together, and there's lots of things that need to happen. But there's the good news, right? You got lots of different things that you could improve on. And if you are hitting on all cylinders, Naylor will be playing his best baseball. Same with Cal. Same with Julio. Brendan Donovan gets healthy. He comes back. I mean, you've got the pitching has been it's been kind of confusing and a bit of a logjam, and people are, kind of bunched up about the piggyback and all that. But it's still the whole reason for all of that and the 6-man rotation is that you have an excess of really good pitching.
Yeah, so, I'm curious to see how the Mariners, because the first half was not good for them on the road. They're 21-29. They've not been a great road team so far. And we'll see if that is something that also turns around in the second half, because they're going to need it to. Because you've got these two series. You got the Giants and you got the Cincinnati Reds coming up, and then right after that is the one that, again, we're pointing to, and we'll see what happens with the Rangers and the Braves. But right now the Rangers are a game and a half in front of you. You've got a 4-game series in Texas right after the Red Series. So starting next Friday, a week from today, you start a 4-game series in Texas. You got to get that road record back to 500. Get somewhere in that neighborhood and start with those Rangers. After that, you got the Dodgers. So, this is going to be a tough stretch here. And that's back-to-back road trips. So between 4 with Texas, 3 with the Dodgers before you come home to take on the Twins. So you got to make hay with these 2 series before you hit that stretch, because you look at it and go, yeah, I could see that going the wrong way. I could see that happening. So you want to gain as much ground as possible while they're playing the Braves, which is a tough task for the Rangers. And you've got, I don't want to say soft touches, but teams you should beat.
Yeah. Well, Joe in Bellevue, who normally, I agree with, but he said Julio's not playing tonight. That him not playing tonight indicates they don't believe every game is important. Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're taking as much precaution as they possibly can to a guy that can really help them down the stretch.
You need him.
Yes.
For the second half of this season. If that means he misses one game, then that's they're taking it very seriously. They don't want to, put him out there too early if he's not ready, and then all of a sudden he's missing more time throughout the season because they rushed him. So, yeah, they're doing the right thing here. They want to see one full pregame workout, go through the cages, do his running drills, the whole thing, and see how he responds. And I would assume, barring bad news, that, hey, something wasn't right after this, that we'd see him in there tomorrow. But we'll find out. Meanwhile, when it comes to the rotation, a big question looms over the next few weeks for this Mariner team. Tell you what that's about coming up next as we continue live from T-Mobile Park with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, home of Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
What are the priorities in the second half? Number one for me, you got to clean it up. Start playing cleaner baseball.
Include Naylor in that. I'm going to have a lot more emphasis on him because he was a major straw that stirred the drink in their run in August and September last year.
That's fine. You can focus on Naylor all you want. I'll still be focused on, Cal, the guy who hit 60 home runs and had the greatest season ever for a catcher last year.
Watch live or later on the Seattle Sports YouTube channel.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That's Refractive Lens Exchange. Now, Dr. Kopstein started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. King LASIK plus K2 Vision equals freedom vision for every stage of life. No glasses, no contacts, readers, or cataracts. Now, if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision and now you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You never develop a cataract. Now, if you're somebody like me that had a pair of readers in every room of the home, in your car, you had to bring them into the restaurant with you. Otherwise, like me, you couldn't read the menu. That has all been rectified thanks to RLE. So whether it's LASIK, EVO ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors to recommend what's best for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Long days call for lots of golf. Hey, it's Graz here, encouraging you to book a tee time between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. at your local premier course, like Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inner Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Padden, Legion Memorial, Linwood, and Walter Hall. In Western Washington, you're never far from a premier course. It accommodates all skill levels, and with affordable rates, you can book a tee time and truly enjoy the summer. If you're not in the mood for walking, play Top Tracer at the range at Inner Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park. Play the courses. Play Premier.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Progressive knows you've got plenty of things to worry about.
What time does the kids' practice end? How long has that check engine light been on? Are takeout containers microwave safe?
So the last thing you should have to worry about is what to do if something unexpected happens on the road. That's why if you're ever in a major accident, Progressive's accident response can detect it and send help. It's just one less thing to worry about.
How long does chicken last in the fridge?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Just 8 days
until training camp for the Super Bowl champs. And nobody has it covered like the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
When you order a ride from a rideshare company, do you know what you're getting? Big rideshare companies have been caught failing to protect passengers from dangerous drivers and not supporting drivers and passengers after an accident, all to protect their profits. That's why if you've been injured in a rideshare vehicle, you need Davis Law Group to protect you. Their in-house team of investigators and legal staff has a successful track record of taking on rideshare companies, and they've won millions. Visit DavisLawGroupSeattle.com.
Every family has a story to tell. At Dunn Lumber, ours is about trust. During the Great Depression, trust was hard to come by. People were so skeptical of banks. Customers would stop by the lumberyard, put their money in an envelope, and leave it in this safe. The safe still stands today as a symbol of our most valuable asset, your trust. If there's ever anything we can do to better earn your trust, email me personally. Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building trust since 1907.
Ooh, that face. Quantum fiber internet loves that face.
That's Jamila.
Hey, Jamila.
She's thinking outside the box from inside the box.
Quantum fiber Wi-Fi keeps her meeting game strong. From the back door to the front lawn.
Rushing all of her video calls. Back to back to back video calls.
Quantum fiber internet blowing the soxies of all those people in all those boxes. Yay to you.
Switch today at quantumfiber.com. Additional pods may be needed to achieve Wi-Fi coverage in some locations. Limited availability. Service in select locations only.
Ready to relax, unwind, and feel your best? The Spa Warehouse Summer Savings Expo is on now. Enjoy big savings on in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. Hot tubs start as low as $3,999 with savings up to $3,000 on select models. Score incredible deals on in-stock swim spas. Save up to $7,700. Plus, interest-free financing through 2028 on approved credit. The expo ends July 31st. Don't delay. Your best life starts at the Spa Warehouse.
This hour is brought to you by Fast Home Services.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got mean text coming up in 15 minutes, so if you've got something cooking, get it in there. 866-979-3776. Have they picked up the pace, Lepko? Is it, how are we looking? 15 minutes away.
Well, I mean, something that happened gave us plenty of material, so that's helped out in a large way.
Okay.
Something that happened.
Yeah, you touching things over there.
I pushed a button. Okay. That's all I did.
No, your mic decided to take on a life of its own.
It did.
Generated some good content for the texters. So there are plenty of texts now regarding that. Yeah.
That's my contribution to the show.
We thank you for that.
I do like the way you minimize. I just touched it and it broke. I just touched a button and it did that.
See, now, Bob, you know why I'm not BSing you. When I remember the one time I just picked up a coffee cup. I put ice in it. I poured water in it. I turned around to take it back to the studio, and it broke. The handle just fell off.
Those were heavy cubes in there.
Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. So, yeah, sometimes things just break, and I'm usually there when it happens.
The look on your face was priceless. I don't know if the video caught it because you were facing me, but your eyes just went. Like you just got electrocuted.
I felt like I got
whoa,
electrified there, yeah.
What the heck just happened here? It was very funny. Anyway, mean text 15 minutes from now, 866-979-3776. We talked about this earlier in the show in case you just tuned in and joined us now. I thought perhaps coming out of the All-Star break that there would be maybe a more definitive plan out there with the rotation. That there, and it feels like it's kind of as it's gone to this point, like we're just kind of playing it by ear is how it feels. Now, I'm sure there's certainly more effort and thought being put into it than that. But that's just kind of how it feels because they're starting with the 6-man. They're opening the second half of the season with the 6-man rotation. So my hope was not fulfilled. I was hoping we'd get, here's the plan moving forward. But we talked with Angie Mentink earlier, and we talked with Trevor May as well. And one of them made a point about, well, obviously if you're showcasing a pitcher perhaps for a trade, they're much more attractive as a starter than they are if there's somebody you relegated to the bullpen. How much does that impact their trade value? I don't really know, but on the surface that makes sense to me. Like if they're thinking, okay, we're going to keep doing this until the trade deadline, then we're going to make our decision whether we trade somebody and that's made for us or we don't trade anybody. But at that point we say, okay, here's what we're doing. This guy's going to the bullpen. That gives us some help in the bullpen, whatever. But August 3rd, I guess, is what I would be looking at for them to make some sort of declaration with this rotation. Because I feel like going through the second half of the season, the same feels, I don't know what the proper term, wishy-washy, or just sort of, it's not set in stone. It's not, hey, we're a 5-man rotation. Here's our 5 guys. And here's our bullpen. Here's how it goes. Right now we're vacillating back and forth between 6-man, piggyback. No, we're not doing piggyback. We'll go back to 6-man.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people get kind of annoyed by that because I think they think it indicates that there's chaos going on down there, and they can't, or
uncertainty.
They can't make a decision. And so I like what you wrote in the email, though, that you feel like they're just sending people out until someone gets lit up.
Well, specifically too, to me, if
Castillo and
Hancock, that if they're thinking of sending either any starter to the bullpen, it's one of those two, and one because he's been the least effective of all the starters, and that would be Luis. And the other guy's gone to the bullpen. It was kind of his role. It was kind of assumed that he was just going to occupy that spot until Bryce was healthy, and then he'd either go to the bullpen or get sent down to AAA, what have you. So he doesn't have, I guess, the resume, even though arguably the best pitcher they've had, most consistent pitcher they've had this year is Emerson Hancock. So I don't know. I feel like they're just waiting for one of them to go out there and just get torched. And maybe it makes the decision easier. Now, maybe it's not that simple, and it is about the trade deadline, and they do want to showcase these guys. I don't know, but that's kind of how it feels on some level.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it really indicates that there is some sort of chaos going on in there, and they can't figure things out. I feel like it's the best option right now, and so I'm not in a big hurry for it to go away from that. I guess it doesn't bother me that much. In other words, that they keep changing their plan. I mean, I don't feel like they owe it to us to, we all understand, like, hey, I want to get back to the 5-man rotation and know who's pitching when. And I don't know, I think that they're doing the thing that they think is best, and the pitching part has been fine.
I just want the other bullpen arm. I don't want to be in that situation again where you're having to go to guys
like the
and I keep bringing up Rucker, and I don't mean to pick on him, but
that was an obvious one.
Yeah, you just you get caught in a situation where you're down an arm. You've got one fewer in the bullpen than you would otherwise have because you have 6 starters, and then you're also minus the leverage arm of Matt Brash. So, yeah, I just want to see that part go away. Where you're going a man short in the bullpen.
Yeah. Does this because Mike wrote here, what do you think about the Kate Anderson sort of timeline? Do you think this affects that, or is it? What do you think?
That's a good question. I don't really know what their plan is with him, and then maybe some of that depends on what they do or don't get done at the trade deadline. If they're not able to acquire. Let's hypothetically say in their mind we need 2 more bodies in that bullpen. Just throwing that out there. Maybe they get one, and they're like, hey, we just couldn't find that deal for the other guy. It just didn't happen for whatever reason. Maybe that's their answer.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Carlos Vargas. All of a sudden, he's a name we hadn't been mentioning at all. So maybe they're looking at it going, hey, if he's ready to go, and then we bring up Kate Anderson, those are the two arms we felt like we needed.
Yeah.
And then if Brash is able to go at the end of August or early September, whatever it is, that's cherry on top. We'll make a decision with somebody else on the roster at that point. But yeah, it's an interesting question because I don't know how much they're looking at him as no, that's going to happen. We've heard them say, well, we expect to see him sooner than later. And all right, we don't really know what that means.
Yeah. Oh, and then we haven't really heard anything from the experts as well. It's been everything from, sometime in the next, at least when the season started, the first couple months maybe, to maybe he can come out of the bullpen if they make it to the playoffs. I mean, that's been the range for Cade Anderson. So
yeah, it's just been a little vague.
But, I can't remember who was saying this, but they were talking about how, the numbers indicate that he is ready to come up, what he's doing right now.
I mean, he's dominating.
I think it might have been Gary Hill. But anyway, yeah, that was I thought.
Well,
really
if Gary said it, you got to take it for what it's worth. Grain of salt and all.
It's the word of God.
Yeah, I mean, he would. For a while we were talking about him and Sloan, but I think that they're not equal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Anderson's pitching like he's playing against young boys, and he's a man out there. And Sloan's had his struggles, but he's got electric stuff, and I think it'll be a matter of time for him, certainly. But yeah, it feels like he's an option. He becomes more of an option should they not be able to get something done at the trade deadline that they feel like they want to or could do. How about that?
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, and we'll see if that's in fact the case. I've always been like, don't bring him up unless you really feel like he's ready. And look, the numbers are getting to a point where it's almost indisputable. Like, yeah, how much good is it for him to be down there? Yeah, I'm sure it's good for his confidence, but in terms of facing that competition and really upping his game, is he gaining anything by going out there and just toying with these AA hitters the way he seems to have?
Yeah, doing the same thing every night at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually the other guy was JP, John Paul Morosi. He was talking about looking at his numbers and saying, this is as good as it gets. He can't pitch any better here.
Yeah, unless he's just shutting out everybody every day, then, I'm not sure what else they need to see. All right, last chance to get them in. Mean texts are coming up, so get them in if you haven't to this point at 866-979-3776. We'll unveil your work. Coming up next, live from T-Mobile Park, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
The Mariners are back from the All-Star break.
Every game from here on out should have a little bit more urgency.
Especially in the American League. One good stretch, and you're back in this thing.
Tonight, it's the Mariners and Giants at T-Mobile Park as the sprint to defend the AL West pennant begins.
I look at the roster and I say, this is enough if these guys go out there and play the way they're supposed to.
7:10 first pitch, pregame at 6 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
The price of gold has doubled in the past 2 years, and both gold and silver reached their highest price ever earlier this year. It's Dave Wyman here, and the good folks over at Bellevue Rare Coins say higher prices have enticed more Americans to cash out their jewelry, gold and silver items, some of which have been in families for generations. Now, if you're trying to time the market, there's no guarantee prices will stay this high forever. Now, here's a story from a real local customer. She walked into a Bellevue Rare Coins with an old bag of jewelry, nervous and a little bit embarrassed because it was mostly old tangled chains and pieces that she hadn't looked at in years. But because gold was near record highs, her jewelry was worth far more than she ever imagined. And when they gave her the total, she started laughing and said, I can't believe I almost donated this stuff. So just go see what your jewelry's worth. It's a free, no-pressure consultation that won't cost you anything. Bellevue Rare Coins is now in Linwood, Issaquah, Tacoma, and Bellevue, or go to BellevueRareCoins.com.
At Farmers, our honesty is contagious.
Wait, am I going to catch honesty?
Well, when you're with Farmers, it's kind of inevitable.
Well, how long does it take to... I lied to you when you asked if I knew what a deductible was. I don't know my dad's birthday, and I thought umbrella policies were for rainstorms. Actual rainstorms. I have it, don't I?
You don't just have honesty.
You have Farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Learn more at farmers.com. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or Affiliate. Products not available in every state.
Hey, Chuck here at Frank Lumber the Door Store. You know our customers have a lot of fun with trying to figure out new and creative ways to use closeout bifold blanks to fill their needs. They can also be used as small double door units, access doors that are pre-hung, and even bypass doors. And with thousands of closeout bifold blanks in stock in Marysville and at our bargain barn, you can put your creative DIY mind to work. Come visit our showroom and bargain barn in Shoreline or on Cedar Avenue in Marysville. Also, be sure to check us out online at franklumber.com.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. You push yourself in everything you do, scanning headlines for insights, keeping an eye on the market. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, all on one platform. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Mariners and Giants tonight at T-Mobile. First pitch at 7:10. Pre-game at 6. Get every pitch of every game for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Immaculate greens, unrivaled natural beauty, championship caliber conditions. Bump letting you know Loomis Trail is the epitome of Northwest golf. With water in play on every hole and tree-lined fairways, you better hit them straight. Loomis Trail provides a fantastic golf experience for those who want a challenge and those looking for a fun getaway. What round are you up for? Tee times available online at golfloomis.com. Start planning your perfect golf getaway today. After the round, enjoy a stay at Silver Reef Casino Resort. Go to golfloomis.com.
Dave Wyman here, brand new member of Harborstone Credit Union, and I got my PNW cashback checking account for free. No fees or minimums, and when I make everyday purchases with my Harborstone PNW cashback debit card, I earn up to $30 each month. Gas, groceries, coffee, travel, lunch, all categories count toward your cash back. Open your free account online like I did. Go to harborstone.com/cash or visit one of their 29 branches across the Northwest.
Insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with my buddy, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. The stem cell therapy you did on my knee was a game changer. But Dr. Dan, people ask me all the time if you're seeing the same kind of success treating neck and back pain with stem cell therapy.
Great question, Brock. As you know from your experience, we've had tremendous success treating major joints like hips, knees, and shoulders, but we've also seen excellent results treating neck and lower back pain. In fact, we're the only clinic in the Seattle area offering image-guided stem cell and PRP injection therapy specifically for neck and low back pain.
How cool is that? If joint, neck, or back pain is holding you back, call Dr. Daniel Nelson at Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine and find out if stem cell therapy may be right for you. Dr. Dan here is the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. Call Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's 425-823-4000 or danielnelsonmd.com.
Wyman
Oh, nice. Just a whole shot at Lefko.
We even got a whoa there from Shannon.
Exclusively designed for Mike Lefko.
I don't think Shannon heard what you had said. Mentink for joining us on the program. If you guys missed any part of today's show or any day, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. You got Mariners and Giants coming up next. We'll talk to you on Monday right here with Wyman and Bob.
Jeff Passan, every Tuesday morning at 8:30 with Brock and Salk.
Brought to you by your Western Washington Toyota dealers.
What can be the elixir to begin the second half for Cal Raleigh?
Just getting back to the basics. In his case, let's get the ball and play a little bit more. And a lot of this is swinging at pitches that he shouldn't be swinging at. Cal Raleigh will fix himself. I absolutely, firmly believe that.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Do you have a wood deck that could use a little TLC this season? Start by giving it a good cleaning to remove dirt, pollen, or any mold or mildew. Then, if you're left with gray wood and decide you want to restain, use a wood brightener product first. Finally, when you're ready to bring life and color back into your deck, choose Penifin Ultra Premium Red Label Wood Stain. Its highly penetrating Brazilian rosewood oil formula provides superior protection for your wood deck. Penifin Red Label Wood Stain, on sale now at Dunn Lumber.
Washington drivers share the road with thousands of semi-trucks, but new reporting and federal investigations have unveiled that as many as 1 in 5 of those trucks are operated by chameleon carriers, trucking companies that rack up crashes and safety violations only to close and reopen under a new name with a clean record. If you've been injured in a trucking accident, time may be running out to recover. Call Davis Law Group today at 206-888-8888 or visit davislawgroupseattle.com.
Fast Home Services is a 5-tool player, one call for it all. Water heaters, plumbing, heating, cooling, electrical. Dave Wyman here, and the same Seattle company that's handled your hot water since 1986 is now handling everything that keeps the house running. One number, one team. Home field advantage for your home. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST to book your free in-home estimate or visit fasthomeservices.com for a virtual quote in seconds for water heaters, plumbing, HVAC, and electrical services.
Long days call for lots of golf. Hey, it's Graz here, encouraging you to book a tee time between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. at your local premier course, like Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inner Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Padden, Leeds Memorial, Linwood, and Walter Hall. In Western Washington, you know you're never far from a premier course. It accommodates all skill levels, and with affordable rates, you can book a tee time and truly enjoy the summer. If you're not in the mood for walking, play Top Tracer at the range at Inner Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park. Play the courses. Play Premier.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
On BritBox, there is a place where stories twist like cobblestone roads, grand manners hide secrets, and stakes are higher than seaside cliffs. Find places worth getting lost in on BritBox. Watch new series like The Other Bennett Sister from the world of Jane Austen and A Woman of Substance starring Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn. If you want to get away, you're in the right place. Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Free trial at BritBox.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, liberty,